media companies.
The DeKalb County School District has sued 4 major social media companies. That includes Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube.
That's Davis Vaughn. He's an attorney for the DeKalb County school system. A lawsuit filed by DeKalb County schools and about a half a dozen other districts around the country against social media companies is being allowed to go to court. The district arguing that it has spent over $4 million to support mental health personnel while trying to deal with addiction to apps, which is also causing disruptions in the classroom.
Social media companies have intentionally targeted our kids, our youth, students. Why? Because the younger that they can get a kid hooked on social media, the lifelong customers they create.
Now, a court date has not yet been chosen. And while we're talking about your kids in school, DeKalb County also improving and expanding security on campuses.
New security vestibules will now be at all 138 DeKalb County schools. Vestibules secured on both the outside and inside. They'll be unique to each school's design. Typically, storefront glass doors are coated with security film, while Lefko's design of a reception vestibule includes a bulletproof window. East Blast Money will pay for the upgrades, which are expected to start seeing installations next summer. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
We have another cold day ahead of us here. Highs only around 47, but a big warm-up is on the way. Just how warm will it get? WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast at 12:05. Atlanta police this noon investigating a deadly shooting that involved at least one teenager.
Officers were called to a residence on Lois Place in northwest Atlanta after reports of shots being fired. There, police found a 16-year-old suffering from a gunshot wound to the arm. He was conscious and alert and was transported to the hospital for treatment. Police also located another male victim who had sustained gunshot wounds, but he did not survive. At this time, police say they have not determined a motive or identified suspects in the case. The Atlanta Homicide Unit is now conducting their investigation. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
A former Bartow County jailer is now behind bars at the same facility where he worked for nearly 2 decades. What'd he do?
It'll be 2 years in the Bartow County Jail for 44-year-old Gregory Allen after he pleads guilty to having a sexual relationship with an inmate he was supposed to watch over 3 years ago. Allen asked to serve his sentence at the jail where he worked from 2005 until he was fired in 2022. That means he may end up being supervised by some of his former co-workers. Now, the female inmate who brought the charges against Allen was originally arrested for shoplifting makeup. She calls herself a victim of coercion. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
It is 12:03 and this is Veterans Day. The 72nd annual National Veterans Day observance at Arlington National Cemetery was last hour, featuring a presidential wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and a commemorative observance in the Memorial Amphitheater. President Trump, along with Vice President Vance and other members of his cabinet, attending the wreath ceremony, which honors the service of all veterans past and present. The government shutdown impacting air travelers today. Delays and cancellations here in Atlanta have been a little bit better today, but Allison Keyes reporting this noon that's not the case at other airports.
Frowns and frustration etched the faces of travelers like this woman at Newark Airport who's just trying to get going.
We're delayed right off the get-go. We hadn't even left for the airport yet, so then we missed our connecting flight in Minneapolis.
Anne-Marie Hopkins, delayed for some 13 hours, says some couldn't afford hotels.
We will have travel insurance. We'll get it back. I'm fortunate enough to have that, but there was so many people. One lady didn't know where to go. She didn't have the money.
Now, the goal for cutting flights is expected to increase to 6%, but it is unclear just how many more need to be eliminated. Well, if this is any indication, we could be in store for a really bad flu season. Influenza cases overseas raising concerns. In the UK, they're seeing flu early, and cases are 3 times higher than this time last year. In Japan, it's so bad there, they've had to shut down schools. The reason is there's a new flu strain circulating, the H3N2. This year's flu vaccine may not be a great match for this new strain, but doctors say the vaccine could lessen the severity of flu should you catch it. A new study today finds chronic diseases like diabetes, cancer, and obesity are not just rising among humans, also animals, dogs, and cats. They're suffering more. More than half of domestic dogs and cats are overweight. Diabetes rates in cats have quadrupled in just the last 15 years. And Toyota's twin-turbo V6 engine, found in the models like the Tundra and Lexus GX, it continues to be problematic. The manufacturer has pushed to issue a recall last July covering replacements for engines in the Lexus GX and the Toyota Tundra due to failures. And now Toyota today is forcing to expand that recall by another 127,000 vehicles. They were all built between the years of 2022 and 2024. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's in the green, up 302. So the Dow's up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ's down more than 0.5%. The S&P's also in the red. All right, Alex Williams joining us now from the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your roads.
Still got this long-standing crash heading northbound on the downtown connector, Sabrina. The good news is it's contained to just one right lane now, 7585 northbound, Peachtree Pine Street, exit 249B. Still brake lights, though, back toward University Avenue. Right lane construction through Ackworth, 75 southbound, passing Highway 92, exit 277. And you got construction on Thornton Road, southbound in Douglas County at Riverside Parkway. That's in the right lane. Delays there stretch back up to Factory Shoals Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Your 5-day forecast sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta.
Sunny skies today, but staying cold with a high of 47. That's still trending about 20 degrees below average for this afternoon. Temperatures tonight will be close to freezing, lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow, sunny, trending warmer, high 63. Mostly sunny on Thursday with highs in the upper 60s. We're back in the 70s by Friday, in the mid 70s on Saturday.
43 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, text donate to 33777. Forget about me right now. Text donate to 33777 and you can donate to Hungry for Days nationwide campaign to help families at Thanksgiving. $40 will provide a family of 4 with a turkey or ham, with the sides and with desserts. They get the sweet potatoes, they get the pumpkin pie, they get the mac and cheese, the cornbread dressing, working with local food banks around the country. Text donate to 33777. I've got to begin with the shutdown and the shutdown politics. To you, Democrats, God bless you. I want to just talk to you for a moment because I know what you're going through, having supported multiple shutdowns, only to feel like my legs got cut out from under me with no good deal. There was one exception, sequestration, the debt ceiling fight back when Obama was president. Conservatives actually won, and then the Republicans have been selling out sequestration ever since. Sequestration was real world, at the time, meaningful cuts to the federal government. It cut across the board. It cut broad swaths. The defense industry didn't like it. Nobody liked it, but it was good and meaningful cuts. And then Republicans have been undermining it ever since. You want to understand why some of you get aggravated with Thomas Massie and his refusal to believe leadership? Thomas Massie went all in on sequestration only to watch the government, led by Republicans, sabotage sequestration. Rand Paul, same boat. So now we've got 8 Democrats who have decided to cut a deal with the GOP, and all the Democrats are furious. Let me read you headlines. Politico, Schumer no longer effective, Dems outraged over deal. New York Times, Democrats so angry one senator faces blowback from her daughter. MSNBC, as the Senate advances a plan to end the government shutdown, what happens? Ezra Klein, what were Democrats thinking? Axios, Schumer privately fought to extend the government shutdown. Josh Marshall at Talking Points Memo, a quick take on Team Cave's big win. Axios, quote, it's complete BS. Democrats go ballistic over Senate shutdown. NBC News, Democrats rebel after 8 senators cut a deal to end the shutdown without Affordable Care Act funds. The Future Now and Then, a left-wing site, the shutdown surrender. Bernie Sanders on shutdown vote, a very bad night. And on it goes. Nate Silver at Silver Bulletin. Trump made a huge blunder on the shutdown. Why did Democrats cave anyway? Brian Butler at Off Message, 16 thoughts on the Dem shutdown cave. The Daily Beast, why these Vichy Dems and their spineless boss need to go now. It's hilarious. The Democrats are melting down. I know this because I've gone through these shutdowns, and let me explain to you what happened. The Axios has a scoop. As Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer publicly battled Republicans over the government shutdown, he was privately cajoling a group of moderates not to fold before November. Democrats are blaming Schumer for not prolonging the shutdown. In reality, it could have been much shorter. 2 weeks into the shutdown, a group of moderates told Schumer they were ready to vote to open the government. It's unclear if that group was big enough to end the shutdown, but Schumer persuaded the moderates to hold off until the beginning of November, when open enrollment for the Affordable Care Act began. Schumer, in other words, dragged out the clock so you people couldn't even get a deal with the Republicans on health care. It's not a coincidence they are leaking this. Schumer internally, according to sources, said the concessions weren't enough. Schumer, of course, is fighting for his life. I don't think it's a coincidence this was leaked. Schumer needed it to leak. Schumer needed look like the hero here. Look, last night I was on CNN with Anderson Cooper, and Jamie Raskin has leaked a whistleblower says that Ghislaine Maxwell is getting favorable treatment. Y'all, it's not a coincidence. As I said last night on CNN, it's not a coincidence that Jamie Raskin was able to leak this information out there to claim that Ghislaine Maxwell, according to a whistleblower, is getting preferential treatment in a federal prison because it's a way to rile up the base and get them distracted by Epstein. It's the same thing Republicans did when Joe Biden was president. The Republicans, when things didn't go their way, would say, Epstein, what's Biden covering? And now the Democrats are doing the same damn thing because they caved on the shutdown. And Raskin's like, don't look there, look here, Epstein. That's how bad it is for the Democrats. The Republicans have handled the Epstein stuff as well as the Democrats have handled the shutdown, I got to say. It's just wild to me. Now, here's what actually happened. I know this. Don't doubt me on this. I know this. I'm not going to give away sources, but I know. You have 8 Democrats who collaborated with the Republicans to reopen the government. It is not a coincidence that the 8 Democrats are either not running for re-election or they're not on the ballot in 2026. It is not a coincidence that Chuck Schumer decided to essentially throw them under the bus because Chuck Schumer has electoral problems next year. Angus King, who is an independent but sides with the Democrats from Maine, Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada, John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, Jeanne Shaheen and Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire, Dick Durbin of Illinois, Tim Kaine of Virginia, Jackie Rosen of Nevada. None of them are up for re-election next year. Some of them are not running again. This is what always happens. You go look at the Gang of 8, Gang of 9, Gang of 12 plans that the Republicans and Democrats have concocted in the past, and what it is a group of senators who are either not running for re-election or they're not on the ballot in the next year, and they do these gang plans. The Gang of 8, the Gang of 7, the Gang of 9, the Gang of 12, the Gang of 10, you name it, it's them. It's what they do. So what happens is that the Democrats leak that the minority leader is unhappy. He's deeply unhappy. He wanted the shutdown to continue. Now, on the Republican side, typically it was Mitch McConnell saying we need to reopen the government, and the Republicans would hate on Mitch McConnell. The Democrats are hating on Chuck Schumer. Even the Democrats don't believe Chuck Schumer really wanted to keep the government closed, but he's got to pretend because Chuck Schumer's on the ballot next year. But these 8, they're safe. Do you really think shutdown politics is going to matter in 28 and in 2030 when some of these people are up? Some of them just got reelected. They're not on the ballot again until the year 2030. Do you think they care about the politics right now of the progressive movement? They want to get the government reopened. They want to get SNAP funds going. They want to get the air traffic controllers back on the job and the TSA agents back on the job and everybody else back on the job. They want to get soldiers and sailors, airmen and Marines paid. They don't care about the progressives. Just like the Republican leaders who've done this in the past to the Republicans, they don't care. They don't care about your progressive demands. And what they're doing now is they're trotting Jamie Raskin out there to say, hey, pay no attention to this, pay attention to the Epstein stuff. Pay attention to our whistleblower. You know, remember when the Republicans were losing to Joe Biden, what did they do? A whistleblower says there was a cover-up to the cocaine in the White House. Get the Republicans fired up over whistleblower allegations because there's no way for them to stop the Democrats, no way to stop Joe Biden at the time. And now it's the same way for the Democrats. There's no way to stop the Republicans. So let's scream whistleblower. Let's distract them with Epstein instead of Hunter Biden. And they'll reopen the government and get nothing. Now, I want to point something out here for you. If you've listened to me these past 40 some odd days, I've told you this is what would happen. It's not that I had insight, although I did. It's not that I had sources, although I do. It's that I knew this would play out because the only way for Republicans to have a shot next year is for the Democrats to have a civil war. The party that controls the White House tends to do poorly. The economy, contrary to the claims from the president, is not actually doing well right now. The voters themselves signaled on Tuesday that prices are still too high, the cost of living is still too much, and they now blame the Republicans. The only way for the Republicans to hurt the Democrats next year is to force the Democrats into a civil war where the moderates are put on defense by the progressives who Americans hate. The Republican strategy was always to hold out until the bitter end and make the Democrats cave, and they knew the Democrats would cave. They knew there were always the votes. What did I tell you at the very beginning of this? I told you to look for Jeanne Shaheen, and I told you to look for Dick Durbin, and I told you to look for John Fetterman, and I told you to look for a guy like Tim Kaine. I literally wrote that as the Democrats were threatening the shutdown to look to those members to reopen the government. I told you that the week of the shutdown, those were the names to look for. I told you the week of the shutdown that those were the pressure points. Why? Because some of them weren't going to run for re-election and some of them were going to be there for so long that they didn't care about the progressive politics of the day. If you've been listening to me, you've known the names of the people who are going to cut the deal far longer than anyone else in the country. And the reason I knew is because I know how to read the room. I know how to talk to senators privately. I know how the system works, and I know how the shutdowns always work. And I have known that the Republicans were badly, desperately in need of a fight within the Democratic Party, and the only way to manufacture the fight within the Democratic Party was for the Republicans to hold the line as long as it took until the Democrats finally broke and got nothing. Because if the Democrats broke and got nothing, it wouldn't matter in the general election of 2026, but it would really matter in the primaries of 2026 in the Democratic Party, and it would more likely than not drive the Democrats off the progressive edge, and many Democrats in primaries would get nominated who were too radical for the general election. That's been the Republican strategy the entire time, and if you're a listener of this program, well, guess what? Guess what? You knew before everybody else.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1220 Coolray Carrier WSB Traffic Center. Still watching this crash down to just a right lane block downtown. 7585 northbound Peachtree Pine Street exit 249B. Looks like that roadwork's wrapped up in Ackworth. I think all lanes are back open. 75 south past Highway 92 exit 277. Traffic brought to you by Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola. Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola have partnered to give you the best of both worlds, all under one special deal. Get your combo ticket at AtlantaIcons.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
A handful of Democratic senators compromise with Republicans. A measure passes to open the government.
This bill would fund the government through January 30th and reverse layoffs of federal workers.
Now it's up to the House and the president.
They've got to scramble all of those members back.
What comes next?
We are expecting a vote in the House as early as Wednesday.
What does it mean to you?
The deal does not include an extension of Affordable Care Act tax credits.
Listen often throughout the day for the very latest. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your Virtual Imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but the cold air is coming fast. That means a couple different things to me and you. Energy bills will be rising and company coming over for the holidays. Dan Watkins here with All Four Seasons Garage, entry doors, and windows. It's time to get your house ready for the winter air and your holiday visitors. The good news is that we have you covered for every opening in your home. So call us today to set up a free estimate with one of our amazing sales consultants. They'll help you pick out the perfect garage door, front door, and windows for your home.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not the enriched stuff you see on the shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away by the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we have heard thousands of stories from satisfied customers who found improved health from eating real bread. We invite you to come check out the Bread Becker store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and more. Our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment or infused oils and vinegars are sure to be the perfect gift for that special someone. Let us teach you how to make your own real bread to improve your family's health. Take that first step to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Attention veterans and active military, thank you for your service. Overhead Door Company of Atlanta will double your veterans discount in November. Veterans and active military get 10% off through November at Overhead Door Company of Atlanta. 10% off all doors, openers, any service or repair. Schedule a free in-home estimate for your new garage door or save on your annual garage door tune-up in November. Schedule online at overheaddooratlanta.com or call 404-USA-DOOR.
The legendary Eastman Gun Shows are this weekend at the Clarence Brown Arena in Cartersville. Bring your friends and family. Rain or shine. Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 10 to 4. We have everything for the lovers of the right to bear arms. Eastman Gun Shows, proud supporters of the Second Amendment.
Hey friends, if you drive a Mercedes, BMW, Land Rover, or any European import, I highly recommend Rocco's European Garage. You'll get better value than the dealership with honest and all-in pricing. This is Mark Aram. I want you to check out Rocco's European Garage.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
The 4 Things You Need to Know podcast, giving you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app, or by texting Eric to 33777.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here again, and I'm going to keep reminding you guys, please text the word donate to 33777. Here's what we're doing. I have for 5 years now, during this Thanksgiving season, partnered with a group called Hungry for a Day. They started in Atlanta, Georgia, and they have spread nationwide. And David Huey, who is the director of Hungry for a Day, he and I were chatting a couple of years ago, and as my show expanded around the nation, they've partnered with local relief groups in those areas, but more than just that. They've made sure, though, for example, those of you in Hartford, Connecticut, and those of you in Bridgeport, Connecticut, your local food pantries and soup kitchens, they're partnering with them. Those of you down in Palm Beach, Orlando, you name it, Kalispell, Montana as well. Now this year, Springfield, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, Oklahoma City. We've done Tulsa, Austin, Paris, Texas, now Buffalo, New York, Watertown, New York, and Sacramento, across the country. Numbers in Oregon and in Washington State. As we've expanded, they've expanded. The Fayetteville, North Carolina area and Pinehurst. And here's what they do. If you text donate to 33777, you'll get an option to pay. You can give whatever you want. And seriously, if you can only give $5, give $5. It matters. It actually does matter. If you can give $40, just $40, you're going to feed a family of 4 for Thanksgiving. They're going to get a turkey or a ham. It depends on their family preference. They'll get the sides like sweet potatoes, mac and cheese. They'll get pie. They'll get dessert. They're going to get taken care of. Now, there are parts of the country that are heavily immigrant influenced in Texas. And actually, you know what? You guys up in Connecticut listening right now, you've got a couple of neighborhoods there that they partnered with food banks in the past. And we're told actually chicken is more common. The Hispanic communities don't really deal with turkeys, but chickens would be great. Hams as well up there. But in some parts of the country, they've given, instead of a Thanksgiving and stuffing and stuff like that, they've literally given chickens and flour tortillas or corn tortillas. So an immigrant family from south of the border that's here can also celebrate our American Thanksgiving, but incorporating food traditions that are going to be sure that they eat. In most places, though, from Alaska to Miami, Hungry for a Day gives turkeys or hams, mac and cheese, sweet potatoes, green beans. I mean, it kind of depends on what the preference is in the neighborhood, and then pies. In some places, pecan pie. In some places, pumpkin pie. In some places, sweet potato pie. But $40, you're going to feed a family of 4 somewhere in the country. $80 is going to feed 2 families of 4. I mean, and you can do the math from there. So $120, you're going to feed 3 families. Text the word donate to 33777, the word donate to 33777, and follow the link back. And let's all commit to feeding a family at Thanksgiving. And if you need the help this Thanksgiving, don't be afraid to reach out to your local food pantry, soup kitchen. They want to help you. We want to help you. With financial problems right now, Swiss America has been warning people about a secret war on cash, and they would love for you to get their report completely free. All you have to do is reach out to Swiss America by calling or texting 800-289-2646. This all-out war on cash, it includes cryptocurrency. It's spreading daily. My brother-in-law yesterday, I mentioned yesterday, in Las Vegas, I went to a place, and they wouldn't let me pay for cash. And he's like, what place were you at, Erickson? It's a pizza restaurant in Las Vegas. I wasn't allowed to pay cash. I had to use debit or credit. And the government's trying to control your spending. Swiss America wants to get you their report, The Secret War on Cash. Just mention my name, Eric, when you text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. That's SwissAmerica.com/ERICK, or call or text Eric to 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. DeKalb County Schools joining about a half dozen other districts around the country and suing some social media companies. The districts argue that it has spent over, the one in DeKalb, has spent over $4 million to support mental health personnel while trying to deal with addiction to apps, which is also causing disruptions in the classroom. Davis Vaughn is a lawyer representing DeKalb schools.
These companies should have to answer to the harms that they've caused the district and should also have to change their designs and the addictive nature of the platform to be safer for kids and for the district.
He says Facebook, TikTok, Snap, and Meta are among those being targeted in the case. A court date has not yet been picked. All right, your weather for today. Sunny and cool, headed for an afternoon high of only 47. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. 44-year-old Gregory Allen was a jailer in Bartow County. Now he's behind bars at that same place where he worked until his firing in 2022. He's been sentenced to 2 years after pleading guilty to having a sexual relationship with a female inmate 3 years ago. This is Veterans Day, a day when we remember those who serve in the military. President Trump today laying a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. Delays and cancellations are rising again today across the U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy saying today it's only going to get worse.
If you thought this weekend was bad with delays and cancellations, truly this Thursday and Friday, I think you would have seen mass, double, triple the number of cancellations and delays in the airspace.
And flights have been cut by the FAA since Friday due to shutdown-related staffing issues. Reductions increased to 6% today and will increase to 10% by Friday. Today, over 1,500 flights have been delayed, more than 1,200 canceled. Some of the most impacted airports are in Chicago, New York, and here in Atlanta. It's 12:32.
For your home to truly be healthy, it needs to be bug and critter free. Who knows what germs they bring in? Yuck! Hey, it's Christina Epwards. I trust Breda Pest Management to protect my home inside and out because a pest-free home is a healthy home. Don't settle for the 5-minute outside-only spray and pray approach to pest control. It's the gross, germy bugs inside you want gone.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Just like your car, your septic system needs regular maintenance. Hi, I'm Shannon, the owner of Scorpion Septic. If you're seeing bubbles in your toilet, pooling in your yard, slow draining, or your toilet won't flush, you need Scorpion Septic.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump-out charge with your repair. Call for more information. ScorpionSepticServices.com.
ScorpionSepticServices.com.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson here. You've heard me talk about David Nicholas and the team at Nicholas Wealth Management, and I'll tell you what, I'm not just talking about them. I actually am a client. I've got an account with Nicholas Wealth Management. Look, retirement planning today isn't what it used to be. You got to deal with inflation, taxes, market volatility. You can't just hope things work out. You need a real plan. That's why I turned to David Nicholas. David's a weekly guest on Stuart Varney Show on Fox Business. He hosts a 1-hour show every week right here, Saturday at 6 p.m. He and his team focus on helping people get to what they call the sweet spot in retirement, where you have enough income to live comfortably, invest wisely, and enjoy the next chapter of life with confidence. Now, here's the thing. The earlier you start planning, I wish I knew this, the earlier you start planning, the better off you may be. So take the first step today. Call Nicholas Wealth Management. Schedule your free, no-obligation retirement analysis. You'll sit down with an advisor with a fiduciary duty who puts your interests first, reviews your goals, and helps you build a clear plan for retirement so you can focus on what matters most. Call 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com. That's NICHOLAS wealth.com to schedule your free analysis today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. Eric Erickson is paid $450 a week for his testimonial. No endorsement of Nicholas Wealth Management from Fox or Stuart Varney is stated or implied.
All right, Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Better news downtown, Sabrina. Crash cleared, all lanes open. 75-85 and northbound at Peachtree Pine Street, exit 249B. I think we got a stalled big rig now in Ackworth in the right lane. 75 southbound Highway 92, exit 277, slowing you back up into Emerson. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Sunny skies and staying chilly today, high 47. Temperatures close to freezing tonight with lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow, trending warmer with a high of 63. Warm sunshine on Thursday, high 67.
We'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Truth over tribe. Conviction over party. Eric Erickson. Conservative, but not captive.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the show. I am probably more relational with you guys than any other radio show host. And I am relational to you in ways that many people, including those who work with me, for me, and around me, oftentimes don't like that I overshare personal information. Like, for example, now I'm not allowed to tell you guys when I go to different restaurants and stuff like that. They got mad at me for saying I joined In Town Golf. You can't get to the front door there unless you're a member. And so I was fine with that. But I can't tell you, like when I went to Las Vegas, couldn't tell you what I was doing or anything until after it was over. They don't like when I overshare with you, and so they're not going to like that I tell you right now. I will be live with you in 15 minutes, but I'm not here right now. Christy woke up sick this morning. Her oncology visit is happening, so I drove her up to Atlanta. I am wrapping up the doctor's appointment right now, and I will be at my studio in the next 15 minutes. The appointment actually ended, but I can't tell you how it went yet because I had to get up really early this morning to record these first few segments of radio so that I could get my wife to the doctor, and so I could sit with her. And then I got her a hotel room and am parking her at the hotel room, and I'll be with you live in a few minutes. And I know it makes everybody in radio mad, and I always feel a little dishonest when I'm got to do something like this. And I want you to know that I don't know if there's been some big, massive breaking news thing in the last 30 minutes, but I promise I'll get to it at the top of the hour if there is. But I want you to know, I will tell you as soon as I am live on the air how her scans went. I got home last night, y'all, though, and it was pitiful. She just has not gotten over this latest illness that she's had. And I was like, you're not going to be well enough to drive yourself to the hospital. I was going to drive up, go to the appointment. The appointment done like 11:45, and I could get to the studio on time other than probably recording the first segment. She wasn't feeling great. So I made the decision this morning. I'm going to go on, get you a hotel room, prepay for an early check-in. You go sit at the hotel. I'll get the first hour of my show done so we're not pressed for time. And so I'll be with you with the rest of the news here at the top of the hour. But right now, for those of you who are texting and saying, hey, how's your wife? You haven't mentioned it. That's actually why I haven't mentioned it yet is I don't know yet because I'm pre-recording this before the doctor's appointment, and I'll get to you after. But I do know something, and it goes back to what I was saying beforehand. The Democrats were never in a position to be able to win the government shutdown. They never were. And they were never in the position to win the government shutdown because the Republicans know they're going to lose next year simply by being the party in power. And by the way, there's a major story at Bill Pulte or whatever his name is, that White House staff are furious with him because of the 50-year mortgage idea. It was unvetted. The Treasury Secretary and the Commerce Secretary think it's a terrible idea. All the financial people and the economists of the White House think it's a terrible idea. And the guy apparently was able to get access to the president, whispered in his ear, suggested it was a great idea, sold the president on the idea without vetting it through any of the policy people in the White House, and it is blown up in the White House's face. It's not just me who's critical of it and thinks it's a bad idea. Actually, a lot of aides to the president and others are very upset. White House officials are furious with Bill Pulte. Is it Pulte? I don't care. The Federal Housing Finance Agency director who talked the president into suggesting a 50-year mortgage plan. The White House staff were blindsided by the idea, according to two people familiar with the situation, granted anonymity, and are now dealing with a furious backlash from conservatives, business leaders, and lawmakers. The guy arrived at Palm Beach with a roughly 3x5 poster board in hand. A graphic of former President Roosevelt appeared below 30-year mortgage and one with Trump below 50-year mortgage, and the headline was Great American Presidents. Less than 10 minutes later, the president proposed it on Truth Social. Almost immediately, aides were fielding angry phone calls from those who thought the idea was both bad politics and bad policy. Conservative influencers, Laura Loomer, Mike Chernovich, Chris Rufo, Sean Davis, Marjorie Taylor Greene, they all blasted the idea. Pulte seemed to acknowledge the criticism, posting that a 50-year mortgage is just one piece of a wide arsenal of solutions. And FHFA spokesperson told Politico that the inflation under former President Joe Biden destroyed the housing market. This isn't the first time Pulte's political proposals and policy proposals have caused headaches. He also wanted to take Fannie and Freddie out of government conservatorship. I actually like that idea, but nonetheless, he also did the fraud allegations against Lisa Cook that have largely blown up in the Republicans' faces. This guy, I don't know what's going on here, but see, this is why the Republicans had to win the shutdown fight, because of stuff like this. You see, they don't have ideas. Sean Davis, old friend of mine at the Federalist, had a tweet, and I got to agree with Sean. The Daily Beast mischaracterized it somehow as some sort of major blow up against the White House, and it wasn't that at all. It was simply someone who knows politics, Sean Davis, suggesting that they need a change in direction on public policy at the White House. There actually are real issues that are deeply frustrating people, including economic issues, and a 15-year car loan. And I got to say, I thought the 15-year car loan thing was an internet rumor. It turns out to be real. A 15-year car loan and a 50-year mortgage are bad ideas, and the fact that this guy was able to convince the president to push those out on social media was terrible. People need real solutions to the cost of living. They need wages to come up if prices aren't going to go down. The president has committed himself to tariffs in a way that I think is unhelpful. So they got to come up with something. And one of the things Republicans wish to do, if you will go back to 2022, you will recall that a lot of Hispanic voters moved to the right because they did not want to embrace socialism, and they felt that the Democrats were over-embracing socialism. And there's a strategy there. So let's look at this, and you actually can go back to 2018 and 2022, both midterm elections. Hispanic voters who voted Republican in large part because they did not like the left-wing drift of the Democratic Party and the embrace of socialism. It was there in the exit polling in both years. In 2022, it grew tremendously as the Democratic Party was openly talking about socialism and saying favorable things about socialism. Hispanic voters, many of whom have fled socialist regimes in Central and South America, voted Republican. And in 2024, even more of them voted Republican. Well, what's happened in 26? Because of the cost of living, Democrats would say immigration. That's not really true. It's more the cost of living and economic issues. These voters feel like the GOP has abandoned them. They don't want to vote socialist, but they don't want to vote for Republicans who they now blame for driving up the cost of living. Well, Republicans holding out on a government shutdown, forcing the Democrats to cave, sparking a civil war among the Democrats that in primaries potentially pushes that party further left towards an all-out embrace of socialism after they've elected Mamdani in New York, that could drive Hispanic voters back to the GOP, and not just Hispanic voters. A large section of the middle class, a large section of non-white voters, they don't want socialism. They don't want it. So Republicans sparking the Civil War was the only way they were ever going to have a leg up in the midterms. They knew it going into this. and the Democrats walked right into it. The Democrats, when Republicans shut down the government, they always had a consistent message. And they may not have always agreed, but the message was the same. In this case, some of the Democrats said they were fighting to defund ICE. Some of the Democrats were fighting to defund Trump. Some of the Democrats were fighting authoritarianism. Some of them were fighting for health care benefits. Some of them were just fighting for the sake of fighting because somebody's got to fight Trump. They didn't have a unified message on this. They lacked a leadership voice. It was conservatives who were always driving the message when Republicans shut down the government, and it was always to get rid of some big government program. Now the Democrats wanted to shut down the government to fund a program, so they wanted to starve the government of funds in order to fund the government. It was always nonsensical, and yet that's where the Democrats were. And the Republicans could take advantage of it. Let's just be real honest here. Democrats are not good at government shutdowns because Democrats want the government. So it was always absurd to think the Democrats could win a fight to shut down the government against a party that's okay with smaller government. I mean, that never made sense here. The Republicans are okay with smaller government. You're suddenly going to allow the Republicans to fire people and reduce the size of government and not have it in our lives? Okay. The Republicans never had an incentive to cave. Had more Democrats listened to me in this program, they would have known that. And also, they had to do the clean continuing resolution because it barely passed the House of Representatives. The Democrats didn't want to vote for it because they thought it was funding Hitler. The conservatives didn't want to vote for it because it's funding Joe Biden's budget. Remember, this continuing resolution is actually built around Joe Biden's budget. As a result, it took a lot of arm twisting to get the Republicans. If the Republicans changed it at all in the House, it could have failed. In fact, much of the deal that these Democrats have gotten, these 8 Democrats have gotten, are just promises of votes. The Republicans can't commit to the reforms because the Republicans don't have the votes for the reforms. It was always simply a promise to allow a vote to come up. That's it. I don't know when people got so bad at politics. Like I was saying on TV last night. Everybody's bad at politics. Scotty under promised and over delivered. She was giving it all he's got, Captain. He always kept the Enterprise running. I'm talking about Scotty from Star Trek. The Scotsman engineer. He always under-promised and over-delivered, and we've got the anti-Scotties in Washington, D.C. They over-promise and they under-deliver. They don't give the engines even half of what they've got. They don't even try. It's just stupid politics. Let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Let's talk about Hunter Biden. Forget about the cost of living. Forget about inflation. Forget about going after the Republicans for a 50-year mortgage. I mean, the Republicans were ripe for an attack today, and instead they went back to Epstein because they've lost. They have lost the shutdown fight. They're on defense. They're going to open themselves up to a massive civil war now. And it was also predictable. I not only predicted it on this program, I named the names of the senators who would eventually cave. And I did that as it happened. It was always so obvious. I'm surprised John Ossoff of Georgia was not a participant in ending the shutdown. It tells you how scared of progressives John Ossoff is. And I guess, honestly, being a Jewish member of the United States Senate, John Ossoff is a little more worried of where progressives stand these days, given their anti-Semitism. He's had to be on their side, even on matters of Israel, to show he's, unlike they accuse a lot of Republicans of being bought and paid for by Israel. He can say, no, he's not. He stood up on that. But he also stood up on not paying federal employees. That's what progressives wanted. He gave progressives what they wanted. And I got to think that's not in line with where the voters are in Georgia. You've got the National Weather Service there. You've got major air traffic control there. You've got major military operations there. And John Ossoff came out for not paying any of those people and for keeping the government closed down because he was too scared of where progressives might land on him in a primary and potentially primarying John Ossoff. It's not a healthy party, the Democratic Party. The Republican Party isn't healthy either. At least Republicans are having the conversation about anti-Semitism. The Democrats just embraced it. But now the Democrats are going to go even further left because they fell for the Republican trap of shutting down the government without a plan to ever get it back open, which allowed the moderates to work with the Republicans and do what was inevitable.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Day Carrier Traffic Center. Heads up in the northwest. Stalled big rig out of in Ackworth, 75 South, Highway 92, exit 277. That's in the right lane. You're slow back into Emerson. Car fire cleanup in Holly Springs, 575 northbound past Holly Springs Parkway, exit 14. They just reopened that left lane. I'd continue to use Highway 5 or Bells Ferry, though. Traffic brought to you by True Natural Gas. They could report aliens have landed, but that wouldn't be true. Here's something that is true. True Natural Gas offers low rates and great customer service. Visit TrueNaturalGas.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
It's not as bad as it could be.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Hey, the ladies are at home. Let's smoke cigars.
Eric Von Hessler.
Some sort of cultural affirmation. Yes, I am this kind of man.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You're ready for a new deck, but don't know where to start. You can DIY, use an unlicensed chuck in a truck, an overpriced luxury designer, or you can choose us. Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors, and we do decks differently. We build beautiful, high-end decks at a reasonable price with lots of options. We're licensed and insured. We'll work with the materials you choose and stay within your budget. Call Nelson Exteriors for an extraordinary deck renovation. Google Nelson Exteriors.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. Mm-hmm. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Mom's home cooking. Thoughtful, caring, and made with love. Wouldn't it be great if home improvement companies did that? Painting Plus does.
Hi, it's Charlie, owner of Painting Plus. For 3 decades, we've taken that same personal, thoughtful, and caring approach to your home's exterior remodel.
Locally owned Painting Plus. The plus means anything and everything exteriors at the highest quality. Your complete exterior solution.
Trust the plus. PaintingPlus.com.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get Eric's daily show prep email. Text DATA to 33777 and you'll be in the know.
Welcome back. A serious note here. Today is Veterans Day in the United States. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the guns fell silent in Europe, ending World War I. It's a testament to how bloody and awful the American Civil War is that the rest of the world, particularly the European powers after World War I, set as a memorial the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, time to coincide with the treaty that brought to an end World War I. And Americans already had Memorial Day. So many dead in fields across this country. And now so many dead in the trenches across Europe. Have you ever been to Europe, to France and the like? You can still to this day see some of the trenches. Not from World War II, but from World War I. You can still see trenches. It scarred the landscape. World War II compounded it. The war to end all wars provoked the Second World War. Today, Europeans remember, by tradition, of course, the British wear poppies. Flanders Field is the poem, and it became famous. European nations, once enemies, gather together for almost religious service, in some cases actual religious service, to commemorate what happened. In this country, we honor our veterans today. We honor our veterans today, though, not because we don't want to honor our veterans, but because we killed so many of each other in the 1800s. We already had a day set aside to remember our war dead. And so now we remember those who did not die, our veterans. And I want to thank all of you who are veterans for your service to this country. And I have to tell you, I am appalled by the political leadership of this country across the board for the horror stories that I hear about the Veterans Administration, the VA, and all the problems that happen. We have so many men and women who serve this country faithfully, who have issues related to active duty service on the front lines, and they have horrible health care in the VA. They wait a very long time, and they are not appreciated as they should be. And I am very sorry for that. And maybe one day we will recognize as a nation that we need to do more for our veterans. I actually want to spend a little time on this topic when we come back on honoring our veterans and putting all of this in perspective. There's a lot to be said about all of this. First, I need to tell you about Vision Computers. Vision Computers can build you a computer that will work really, really well. It makes it very upgradable, so as your computer gets out of date, you can upgrade the parts. You don't have to get a brand new machine, which will save you money. They are wonderful people, and you get their tech support for free. They're world-class tech support, where you can call them, and in 15 seconds or less, you get the answer to your questions. It's not just that, though. This is what really sets Vision apart and makes it so remarkable, is their managed IT service doesn't use chatbots and AI. It uses human beings. They've invested in people because your business invests in people, and you want your people to be really good at their jobs. Vision Computers can actually be really good at taking care of your computers so your employees can be good at their jobs instead of having to be micromanagement IT service departments for your company. Every employee will get the phone number in 15 seconds or less. Vision gets on the phone, again, 15 seconds or less, and takes care of them. They can even remote in if they need to in many cases. They can help with email, printer support. Give them a call today at 404-COMPUTE. 404-COMPUTE, or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them I sent you. You might be able to save some money, but give them a call today at 404-COMPUTE, and let's see if Vision can take care of your home situation, those are your loved ones, or your office.
More local news.
Full ground stop at the airport. Meanwhile, Governor Kemp reacting.
Interloop injury crash, 2 left lanes.
More weather.
This thunderstorm is capable of producing a quick spin up.
Atlanta's morning news. Tomorrow morning at 5.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta starts its day.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. We are following breaking news this afternoon. We're getting word of breaking news out of DeKalb County. There has been a shooting there. This is in the 400 block of Treecrest Parkway. DeKalb police just now telling us that there is one person that has been shot. That person seriously injured, and officers are now looking for a suspect. They say this is active and ongoing. We're working to find out more. Check back for updates on this breaking story. Your weather for today, sunny and cold. Afternoon highs only in the 40s. Looking for a high of 47 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. This is new this afternoon. DeKalb County Schools, one of several districts nationwide seeking damages from social media companies.
There is a cost in terms of time spent dealing with students distracted by their phones, but there's also a tangible monetary cost, starting with hiring more mental health counselors. Plus,
purchasing the pouches you place your cell phone in to keep students from scrolling during classroom instructional time. They've purchased cell phone lockers. They've had to increase IT measures to block certain social media platforms.
Davis Vaughn is an attorney for the district seeking over $4 million from Meta, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Now to Bartow County. It's going to be 2 years in the Bartow County Jail for a former jailer who worked at the facility for 18 years.
Gregory Allen requested that he serve his 24-month sentence at the jail where he was employed rather than a state prison. The sentence is handed down after he enters guilty pleas for sexual assault against a person in custody and violation of oath. The 44-year-old is a military veteran who has no prior criminal history. His accuser, a female inmate, calls the ordeal, quote, nothing short of dehumanizing. She was originally arrested for shoplifting makeup. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
We could be in for a bad flu season. In the UK, they're seeing 3 times as many cases this year as they saw last year at this time. In Japan, there are so many cases. The schools have closed. There is a new strain, H3N2, and it seems to spread easily among children and possibly the elderly. Even though the vaccination is not a match for that strain, doctors say it will offer some protection and keep you from getting very seriously ill if you do catch the flu. You're soon going to have to pay more to stream Paramount. Prices are going up on January 15th. The ad-supported Essential plan from $7.99 to $8.99. That's what you're going to be paying a month, while the ad-free plan will go from $12.99 to $13.99. Paramount saying the price increases is to fuel continued reinvestment in the experience and deliver an even stronger slate of programming going forward. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 495, 47,863. So the Dow's up more than a full percent. NASDAQ's down, and the S&P's in the green. It's 102.
Veterans Day is November 11th, and Findlay Roofing honors our local vets. Who's the bestest boy, Rufus? Dave Baker here. Right now, veterans get a special $1,500 discount on roof replacement, and 0% financing is available. FindlayRoofing.com.
At Ameris Bank, we know that it's never just business when it's your business. I'm Brian Parks, head of commercial banking in Atlanta for Ameris Bank. Whether your business is looking to optimize cash flow, improve your payment technology, or grow more quickly, my team and I are here and ready to help with a superior level of service, smart banking technology, and local market expertise. I invite you to reach out to my team by visiting amerisbank.com/yourbusiness or a local branch near you. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours, member FDIC.
If you're seeing cracks in the walls upstairs, downstairs, or outside, maybe even a door not closing, call the Foundation Repair Specialist. Hi, it's Mark Beckham here with Atlanta Ramjack, and we are your leading foundation repair experts. Set up your free estimate right now at atlantaramjack.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
If your basement shows any signs of water damage, AquaGuard Foundation Solutions can help. They'll find the permanent solution your basement and crawl space needs to stay dry year-round. Visit aquaguard.net for a free inspection today. Remember the name. AquaGuard.
It's 1:05, time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies and staying chilly today. High 47, clear and cold tonight. Lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow, sunshine trending warmer. High 63, climbing to the upper 60s by Thursday.
It is 45 degrees in Duluth, 45 in Woodstock, College Park. It is 46 degrees under mostly sunny skies there. We'll have more news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Eric Erickson here across the fruited plain. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Happy birthday to my brother-in-law, Paul, and also to the United States Marine Corps. 250 years old, the Marines. My brother-in-law, not quite that old. The phone number, 877-973-7425, should you wish to be on the program. The shutdown is coming to an end, and, well, the Democrats are not happy with the Democrats. I've got to start first with this. I see a number of people on the right saying, well, I mean, the shutdown was good for the Democrats. They won the elections, after all. That's what this was all for. I do believe the Democrats wanted to energize their base, but they were going to win anyway. The party out of power does well in the midterm elections and does really well in the off-year elections. The Virginia Republican campaign of Winsome Sears was a disaster. It dragged down other candidates. It could have been much better run campaign. Winsome Sears' campaign had a lot to do with the massive losses of Virginia Republicans, but the Republicans weren't going to do well anyway. It didn't matter whether there was a shutdown or not. The Democrats may have presumed that the energy was there for the shutdown, but the Democrats were going to have a good election night anyway because the party out of power does well in those elections, and Donald Trump really does fire up the Democratic base. And we're only, 2 weeks removed from the No Kings rallies that kept the energy of the Democratic Party alive to get them out to the vote. So, yeah, they were going to do fine without a shutdown. But the shutdown is going to ultimately, I think, be disastrous for the Democrats. Why? Very simply, because the Democratic Party has become a party of massive opposition to anything and everything Donald Trump wants. They cannot define themselves in any way other than opposition to Donald Trump, and they're now going to fund Trump. See, as a conservative who has long supported shutdowns, my view is keep it shut down. Why not? Keep it shut down. And I'm okay with the government being shut down. Y'all, I flew to Las Vegas this weekend on Friday morning, flew to Las Vegas, came back last night. There were no travel hiccups on Delta. Now, my buddy who flew from D.C., there were travel hiccups for him because of the cuts and slowdowns in D.C. That was by air traffic controllers. I ran into an air traffic controller and his wife. He's on the verge of retirement, and he and his wife had spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to get food and money and other resources for young air traffic controllers. They were a very, very sweet couple, and they were talking about the madness of it and the young people who come into air traffic control not prepared for being a government employee at a time of government shutdown. It's one of them, they said, was a new father, had a kid, wasn't getting a paycheck, couldn't buy diapers and things like that, and they were relying on the generosity of others. There are certainly people who get hurt during the shutdown. We shouldn't deny it, but concurrent to all of that, most of us never felt it, might as well. Here's the problem, though. The progressives went into this without a plan. You got to understand this. This is a very basic thing you just need to understand. When Republicans shut down the government in 2019, it was over funding for immigration, more or less, the border wall. When they shut it down with Barack Obama twice, the first time was about defunding Obamacare, and the second time was about spending with the debt ceiling increase, and they got sequestration. They didn't get anything out of the Obamacare one, but it was a consistent message. They were fighting to get rid of Obamacare. They were fighting because of the national debt, and they got sequestration. They actually got a very momentous deal out of that one. They got some money for immigration reform when Trump was president. They shut it down. The Democrats are getting nothing out of this in large part because they didn't have a message. The Democrats started with this was about health care, and then it morphed into we can't fund anything related to Donald Trump. They never had a consistent message to the American people. Oh, we want to fund Obamacare. Well, it's not really that. It's we're funding Hitler. Well, it's not really that. It's this other thing. They never had a good, consistent plan. And now it's coming to an end because a number of Democrats have been willing to change their mind on it. And how's it playing? This is Brendan Boyle on MSNBC.
On Tuesday, we essentially had the proof that the American people overwhelmingly were on the Democrats' side of this argument. Polls have been showing for weeks, over a month, that a pretty large number of Americans were with us. But people always question about the validity of polls. Where here we had on Tuesday the ultimate poll. And Democrats won everywhere. I mean, I'll take Pennsylvania, for example. Every competitive race or race that thought was going to be competitive, we won by double digits. We won in Clearfield County, a place that had not elected a Democrat in over a decade and that Donald Trump had carried by more than 50 points. That's how sweeping the victory was on Tuesday. So it's pretty clear that, we went to the polls. The American people understood that Republicans were making their costs go up, that Democrats were fighting to bring costs down and fight to save the health care of the American people. And now all of a sudden, after this big victory, it's the Democratic side, or at least enough Democrats in the Senate that are essentially caving.
That's a Democratic representative from Pennsylvania who just can't believe that they would reopen the government. Here's a little more roundtable discussion, MSNBC.
It's strange, Dean, to go back to the original sort of part of this conversation of whether he is a good deal maker. I mean, in a way, it seems like the president is kind of getting what he wanted 40 days ago when all this started. He was out there saying that, this is all about Democrats trying to give health care to illegal immigrants. He just said that to reporters moments ago, repeated that refrain that Democrats had actually very successfully pushed back against. Then there's all this energy. In the wake of the election on Tuesday, the president made remarks saying basically, wow, Republicans are being harmed by all of this, acknowledging that he was on his back foot. And now here he is winning again? How did he do it?
The Democrats, I don't understand how a Democratic senator goes, wow, we won really big. Let me cave now. I don't understand. That makes no sense to me.
Well, maybe to be, to Anthony's point, if they were cynical, like if we wanted just to hold this out until we get through the election and then.
Yes, the election. Hold it out till we get through the election. In fact, this is Senator Tim Kaine, who is one of the flippers.
Do you wish that you would have started looking for this off-ramp sooner? You said that Republicans were never going to change in their position.
I didn't
I didn't fully understand how dug in they were. Again, because I was so focused on the Virginia elections, I wasn't in this discussion on the healthcare to see how dug in they were. But even as I was not part of these discussions, I was saying to Thune and others on the floor going back, listen, I need you. Some of you heard me say this in the hall. I need a moratorium on mischief. Others are working on the healthcare thing. I trust them. Others are working on the approach thing. I trust them. I need a moratorium on mischief, because if we vote to open and then the immediate step next week is Donald Trump fires a lot more people, it's going to blow up trust to get the full year deal. And so I've been preaching this moratorium on mischief for a month, but I think partly why did they finally give me the moratorium on mischief on RIFs? They needed my vote, but they also saw the election on Tuesday.
If you think that sounds like a bunch of insider gobbledygook, it's because it is. He's basically admitting that the Democrats were holding out for an election, so you federal employees who haven't gotten paychecks, it was the Democrats. You know, think about this. One of the most contested races is going to be in Georgia. Jon Ossoff repeatedly voted not just to keep the government closed, but voted not to pay federal employees. There were opportunities to pay federal employees, and Jon Ossoff refused. How do you think this is going to play with Georgia voters? Ossoff's position was essentially, if I do nothing, progressives spare me. If I do anything to show leadership, they're going to come after me. And so he sat back and did nothing, and he doesn't want to open the government again. How do you think that's going to play with the military in Georgia, with the air traffic controllers in Georgia, with the weather service in Georgia? How do you think that's going to play? Probably not well. Bernie Sanders as well, furious.
Tonight, 8 Democrats voted with the Republicans to allow them to go forward on this continuing resolution. And to my mind, this was a very, very bad vote. What it does, first of all, is it raises health care premiums for over 20 million Americans by doubling, and in some cases tripling or quadrupling. People can't afford that when we're already paying the highest prices in the world for health care. Number 2, it paves the way for 15 million people to be thrown off of Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. Studies show that will mean that some 50,000 Americans will die every year unnecessarily. And all of that was done to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1%. As everybody knows, just on Tuesday, we had an election all over this country. And what the election showed is that the American people want us to stand up to Trumpism, to his war against working class people, to his authoritarianism. That is what the American people wanted. But tonight, that is not what happened.
The progressives are furious. The Democratic Party base upset. No one's really a winner in this thing, if we're honest about it. No one's really a winner. What's wild to see, however, is the angst and anger at the progressive base who felt like they were winning something. And I'm not really sure what exactly it is they were winning, because, I mean, what did they get? They haven't gotten anything. Republicans, they lost an election, but again, they were going to lose that election anyway, and you all know it. You all know it because the party out of the White House in off-year elections does pretty good. Remember, John Bel Edwards in Louisiana was able to win in a situation like that. The Republicans, they got problems. But the Democrats have more problems. The Democrats have more problems because the Democrats have convinced themselves they're funding Hitler. And when you convince yourself you're funding Hitler, there's really no middle ground, is there? There's no way for you to walk it back in a way that you're not funding Hitler, because Hitler is Hitler and Hitler is bad. And so when you're telling yourselves and those around you, well, we can't fund Hitler, and now suddenly you're funding Hitler, well, you funded Hitler, good people of the Democratic Party. You have funded Hitler now. That's your talking point, by the way, not my talking point. To be clear, I don't think Donald Trump is Hitler, but these people do. And 8 Democrats have now decided that they're going to. Oddly enough, it was some conservatives, Mike Lee of Utah, Rick Scott of Florida, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, withheld their votes last night because they wanted more clarity on what compromises the Republicans were going to launch. And it turns out there aren't any compromises. What the Republicans did is they said, we'll give you a chance to have it voted on. We'll give you a chance to vote on it. John Cornyn was in Texas, had to get on a plane and go back to D.C. to give the 60th vote to advance the deal. Now, it's going to be a couple more days because Democrats have some stalling tactics, but the clean continuing resolution is going to pass. We can do this all over again in January. But for now, the Democrats have caved, and the Democratic Party base is furious because, as I told you, and this, listen, I don't try to toot my horn enough, but if you listened to this program for the past 40 days of this shutdown, you knew this is exactly the way it was going to happen. Democrats would get nothing. I have told you the entire time, don't doubt me, the Democrats will get nothing and they will cave. And we have told the Republicans to hold the line, and they did. And you should note, all of you people like me who oftentimes thinks the Republicans are the ones to cave, for once, they didn't cave. The Democrats did. They got nothing after 40 days and are reopening the government.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
121 Cool Day Carrier Traffic Center. Car fire cleared in Holly Springs. All lanes open. 575 northbound past Holly Springs Parkway, exit 14. Stalled Big Rig in Ackworth, though. That still knocks out the right lane. 75 southbound Highway 92, exit 277. Delays back to Old Allatoona Road. Use Highway 41 between Emerson and Ackworth to avoid the jam. Traffic brought to you by Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola. Georgia Aquarium and World of Coca-Cola have partnered to give you the best of both worlds, all under one special deal. Get your combo tickets at AtlantaIcons.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
We've all been
Jam
there.
starting at Langford Parkway.
Counting the minutes before we know we're going to be late because we couldn't count on a traffic app.
Jam from I-85 down towards Ponce.
There is one thing you can count on. Triple team traffic on WSB.
Stay slow once you're inside the perimeter as well.
We know the highways. We know the streets. And we know the shortcuts.
75 northbound heading up to Cobb County through Marietta and Kennesaw.
And all you need to do is listen.
More experience.
More reliable. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
The biggest factor, I think, in choosing a company is their integrity. Are they going to warranty their work and stand behind their work?
Meteorologist Glenn Burns loves his Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows from North Georgia Replacement Windows.
The product, of course, has to be good, but the folks standing behind that product have to be even better. This is the company that has the best products, the best service, the best installation.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
Our team's 2025 study of retirees found that happy retirees are 2 times more likely versus unhappy retirees to simply have a written retirement plan. Just think, you may be able to double your likelihood of happiness by simply taking an hour to sit down and put pen to paper. If you'd like a financial advisor to help you tackle the trickier questions that need answers, reach out to our team at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
Y'all, I'm more and more getting encounters with, family and friends wanting to know, is this a scam? What have you? They're so sophisticated now, and especially with older folks, the level of sophistication that criminals are using online to scam people, it's next level. Vision Computers could be your last line of defense on this. If you've got Vision Computers managed IT plan for yourself, for your home, for your business, you can put your employees or your aging parents through some training with the employees at Vision Computer that can help protect them. And you can even, if someone calls and you think it's a scam, put them on hold, call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE, and do a 3-way call. And the pros, they get on the call, the crooks run away. Vision Computer's employees, your parents, well, they're taken care of. Call Vision Computer today. Get peace of mind, state-of-the-art technology, and defense with their managed IT plans. Call Vision Computers today at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE.
It's time to renovate your home and you've got designs in your head, but will they pass code? Hire Sketchhouse Architects before you call a builder to make sure your design is up to code and zoning compliant. Hi, I'm Richard Taylor, architect at Sketchhouse. We're going to make this easy to get your ideas on paper, and Sketchhouse will connect you with multiple builders to bid on your job through the Sketchhouse Builders Network. You're going to save thousands of dollars with Sketchhouse Architects. We're going to make this easy for you. Go to sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, H-A-U-S, sketchhouse.com.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
So I timed it perfectly. I had it nailed perfectly to be here on time for the start of the second hour of this program, until somebody heading into the parking garage collided with someone heading out of the parking garage, and I couldn't get my car out of the hospital parking garage. Don't text and drive, people. Don't text and drive. Scans are fine. Thank you very much for your prayers. So Christy's dealing with some. She's been on this medicine called Tagrisso longer than almost anyone around. And there's such a small data pool of people. She's kind of it for long-term side effects of being on the medicine, and she's just been without energy for even before she was in the hospital with rhabdo, and it's just gotten worse since. So dealing with that, but the scans are fine. I really do appreciate the prayers. It has been an exhausting several months for all of us, with her not having energy, with me having to shuttle kids to school till we got Gunner his car, and then grocery shopping and cooking meals and travel and everything else. And she's a trooper, and I mean, we're in this together till death do us part. So do my part to be able to get her. I parked her at a hotel room just by the hospital till I can get my show done, and then I will go by the hospital, pick her up, and get her home and get us fed. So just one of those days in the life of dealing with just life. So thank you very much for your prayers. And yes, the scans are good. And I guess we'll do it all over again in 3 or 4 months. They moved her to 4-month scans, thankfully, instead of 3 months. So in 4 months, we can do it all over again. Right now, let me tell you about Old Glory Bank. They're my bank. I had a great experience with them when I got back from Las Vegas, was able to deposit cash. My winnings in Las Vegas with a QR code at a local store. They scanned the code, took the cash, it got deposited in my account. It was fantastic. It worked. Even though they're an online bank, I could deposit money. You can too. If you're a veteran, a first responder, an active duty military, you too can use Old Glory Bank, and they'll give you great discounts if you're active duty military or a veteran first responder. I've got a no-fee checking and a no-fee savings account. You can get the premium accounts with interest-bearing checking, things like that if you want. You go to oldglorybank.com/Eric, oldglorybank.com/ERICK. Old Glory Bank was started by Some conservatives who were concerned about the conservative debanking trends in the country, where progressives were buying bank shares and then forcing those banks to do things, targeting conservatives, gun owners, gun stores, things like that. Old Glory Bank stood up in defiance of it, and now they're the fastest growing bank in the country. oldglorybank.com/Eric, ERICK. Go check them out today. When we come back, I want to wind up the shutdown conversation. I'll take your phone calls as well. 877-973-7425. Phone lines are open. The fate of Chuck Schumer when we come back.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. Happening right now, police searching for a shooter in DeKalb County. A person was shot. This is in the 400 block of Treecrest Parkway. Again, police say this is an active and ongoing investigation. We'll bring you more as we get it. Your weather for today, it's going to be sunny but cold. Afternoon highs only around 47, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards, but a warm-up is on the way. In DeKalb County, the school system there is suing several social media companies.
The DeKalb County School District has sued 4 major social media companies. That includes Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube.
That is Davis Vaughn. He's an attorney for DeKalb County Schools. A lawsuit filed by DeKalb County Schools and about a half a dozen other districts around the country against social media companies being allowed to go to court now. The district arguing that it has spent over $4 million to support mental health personnel while trying to deal with addiction to apps, which is also causing disruptions in the classroom.
Social media companies have intentionally targeted our kids, our youth, students. Why? Because the younger that they can get a kid hooked on social media, the lifelong customers they create.
A court date has not yet been chosen. Now to Arlington National Cemetery, featuring a presidential wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and a commemorative observance in the Memorial Amphitheater. President Trump giving a salute to the nation's veterans.
With selfless commitment and unyielding conviction, they made themselves America's ramparts and became the shield between our homeland and those who would do us harm.
And this was the 72nd National Veterans Day observance at Arlington National Cemetery. It is 1:32.
Over the years, I have given a lot of great gifts to people, and everybody loves Omaha Steaks when they get them. I have given Omaha Steaks as gifts for years, going back to college and law school. When I needed a grown-up gift to send someone, what's more grown-up and awesome than steak? And even better, the steak from Omaha Steaks. You can take advantage of the Sizzle All the Way sale right now, 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. And because you guys listen to me, you can get an extra $35 off with promo code ERICK, ERICK, at checkout. I've got incredible experiences from Omaha Steaks, great customer service, fantastic food. My wife has fallen in love with the caramel apple tartlets. We have some in our freezer right now. You can build a relationship with Omaha Steaks and build a relationship with someone through great gift giving, thanks to Omaha Steaks. The Sizzle All the Way sale happening now, 50% off site-wide, omahasteaks.com. You get $35 off with promo code ERICK, ERICK, at checkout at omahasteaks.com.
Got a leaky pipe, heating or cooling issue? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. We're not just the helpful hardware folks, we're the helpful home service and repair folks too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Online at acehardwarehomeservices.com or call 770-233-7787.
Are you starting to consider a new roof, but not sure if it's needed or what it might cost?
Tim Andrews, if you're going to impersonate Scott Slade, you might want to add a little bottom.
A little bottom to it.
A little bass, yes.
I'm working on that.
Well, you don't have to impersonate me. We're both here for FGA Roofing.
I know them.
FGA Roofing offers their free drone assessment. And you'll know if it just needs a fix, a rejuvenation, or a new roof. They'll quote you a price, and if you mention Scott Slade, they'll take $750 off the quote.
What about me?
Mention Tim Andrews, they'll take $750 off the quote.
That's $1,500.
If you mention both of us. And here's the best part. That quote is good for 1 year.
With your good credit, you can take advantage of their 000 offer. That's 0 down payment, 0 payments for 18 months, and 0 interest.
They offer all types of roofs, from architectural or any of the high-end roofs like Slate.
Take the first step now and set up an appointment at FGAroofing.com. That's FGAroofing.com.
Or just Google FGA Roofing.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Sabrina, watching brake lights on 285 westbound, the outer loop on the north side out of Sandy Springs over into Cobb from Riverside Drive. Trying to ramp onto 75. I'm going to spin the jam cam, see what's holding up that ride. Up in Ackworth, stalled big rig still in the right lane. 75 southbound, Highway 92, exit 277. Pretty rough ride as you leave Old Allatoona Road. If you want to avoid all that, use Highway 41. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies and staying chilly today. High 47, clear and cold tonight. Lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow, sunshine trending warmer. High 63, climbing to the upper 60s by Thursday.
As we take a look at WSB Storm Tracker radar, it is clear. It's sunny and 46 in Kennesaw. Conyers has 47 degrees. And here in Midtown Atlanta, we have sunshine and 47 degrees. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here live. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be delighted to have you. We've got to discuss the fate of Chuck Schumer because, well, the Democrats are not exactly happy with him. Now, you will notice it's not actually the ones in the Senate. It's everybody else, though. The progressives don't like him. First of all, let's begin with Stephen Colbert last night on his TV show.
I don't understand the newspapers today. It looks like the government shutdown is coming to an end. Our long national nightmare is different. How many days? 41 days so far. It is the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Democrats have been holding the line, demanding Republicans compromise to keep Affordable Care Act subsidies available for millions of Americans. Well, last night, 8 Democratic senators voted with Republicans to fund the government through January without any Affordable Care Act guarantees. So yes, the shutdown may have been long and painful for millions of Americans, but at least it achieved jack squat.
Wow. I can't believe they're canceling that guy's comedy show. But yeah, that's where we go. So here's a Democratic strategist.
Should Chuck Schumer go? And yet, yes, Chuck Schumer should go. I'm sorry to say Chuck Schumer should go. I voted for him many times. I am ideologically quite aligned with where he is as a senator. But he's no longer capable of running this caucus. He's no longer capable of leading the Democratic Party. I am I am an establishment Democrat, and I'm here to say that Bernie Sanders is much more in line with where I and many other Democrats are today than Chuck Schumer is. And, if you would have asked me that 5 years ago, I would have laughed at you. So that just to underscore exactly how furious Democrats are today for putting the country through this without having an out.
Without having an out. Seth Moulton, Democratic member of Congress.
Yeah, and do you think that need for a change in leadership would also extend to Chuck Schumer if you were elected to the Senate? Yes. Would you want to see? Okay. And yeah,
no, I'm not going to run on a new generation of leadership platform here in Massachusetts and then go down to Washington and vote for the status quo. And so I've been very public about that. Again, respect his service, but time to move on. Mm-hmm. And my opponent has not. He keeps dodging the question.
They're trying to turn it into a big referendum for Senate Democratic candidates on what to do. Jasmine Crockett is upset about it as well. I will leave out her profanity-laced comments, but they're not doing very well. Here's David Axelrod.
He is in bigger trouble now. I think Senator Schumer's been there since 1982. My guess is that he won't be leader of the party in 2027 after this election, unless something really surprising happens. But one thing I want to say that we haven't discussed, we're talking about the internal strife within the Democratic Party. Democrats had internal strife before these elections last Tuesday, and they unified because they had a bigger concern, which was Donald Trump. And I think one of the problems Republicans have to consider now is Democrats did do a very good job of shining a bright light on this Affordable Care Act issue and the general issue of health care costs. And now Republicans were steadfast in opposing a solution to it. Maybe they'll change their mind, but this is a heavy burden for them to carry into the midterm elections.
Till you point out that what got canceled was something Democrats wanted to cancel. I think the Republicans probably need to highlight that. Now let's dive into the polling for Chuck Schumer. This is Harry Inton at CNN.
There has been talks of a challenge to Schumer. What are you seeing on that front? Who looks like they're in place to do it?
Okay, so you see this opening slide here, and you see, of course, that Chuck Schumer is underwater with Democrats nationally. But, of course, the ultimate way to get Chuck Schumer out of office is to beat him in New York State. So how do New York State Democrats feel about Chuck Schumer? And take a look here. The net favorable among New York Democrats. Chuck Schumer is above water with the Democrats in his home state, but just by 16 points. Look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez running way ahead. If she decides to challenge Chuck Schumer and come 2028, she's got a real leg up on the competition. I dare say at this point she would be the favorite to beat him, which would be something that would just blow my mind.
A little more from Harry.
All right, backlash this morning for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer as division grows among Democrats over the deal to reopen the government. California Congressman Ro Khanna going so far as calling for Schumer to be replaced, saying he's no longer effective. CNN chief data analyst Harry Inton joining us now. How are Democrats feeling overall about Schumer? We've seen a lot of comments from some House Democrats, but what about overall?
What about Democrats nationwide feeling about Chuck Schumer? I think the word of the day is terrible, 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 terrible. To quote another Charles Barkley when it comes to Chuck Schumer, look at this. Least popular Dem Senate leader ever. I looked at all of the polls going all the way back since 1985. The one who has the lowest rating among Democrats is, in fact, Chuck Schumer. Look at this. He's underwater with Democrats. His own party, he's underwater. He's at -4 points. That makes him the least popular guy for a Dem Senate leader going all the way back since the mid-1980s at least.
Yeah, he genuinely is an unpopular leader right now, genuinely unpopular. The Democrats, though, they don't have anything to replace him with. And that's part of the problem that people have got to understand here. What is the backup plan? You heard one Democratic strategist say that Bernie Sanders is more in line with people. You know, it's always funny because, you know, Bernie Sanders isn't a member of the Democratic Party. And yet they always bend over backwards to try to tie Bernie Sanders to the Democratic Party and elevate the popularity of the Democratic Party with Bernie Sanders. They're, of course, doing it now with AOC. Here's Bernie Sanders, this interview that he conducted with CBS.
Do you, at this point, have confidence in Chuck Schumer to lead the Democratic caucus?
It's not Schumer. Look, it goes deeper than Schumer. It is no secret to anybody who follows these things that there is a division within the Democratic Party. Chuck represents the establishment wing, the corporate wing, raises a lot of money, as do Republican leaders. They raise zillions of dollars from wealthy people and super PACs and all that stuff. I represent a different wing in the Democratic Party. It's the wing that Mamdani won with in New York City, and we are now supporting candidates all over this country. Candidates for the Senate, candidates for the House, who are prepared to deal with this horrific level of income and wealth inequality, prepared to deal with the fact that we are the only major country not to guarantee health care to all people. We have a terrible housing crisis that we should not be giving $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1%. So the question is the future of the Democratic Party. I think it's a future where you have candidates who are prepared to stand up to big money, represent the working class of this country, and fight for an agenda that works for all, not just the 1%.
He's leading you all in the Senate right now. Do you think he should be replaced?
By whom? Well, that's the point. The question is if somebody, look, again, Schumer's views are very different than mine. He is an establishment Democrat, no secret. I am not. I hope that by electing new members of the Senate, we will have, in fact, new leadership. But right now, it is what it is.
Well, and again, I gotta point out here. Bernie Sanders is not a member of the Democratic Party. He chooses to not be a member of the Democratic Party. Bernie Sanders has no desire to be a member of the Democratic Party. And yet he's treated as if he is a member of the Democratic Party. And there's a lesson here for the Republicans. Police your own side here. This whole no enemies to the right of me thing, this is what the left has done. They've allowed Bernie Sanders into the Democratic Party without him actually being a member of the Democratic Party. And he's now disrupting the Democratic Party to the point he's on CBS News essentially saying, we need a new leader of the Democratic Party in the Senate, but we got to win elections to do it. And he's urging people to do that. And he's not a Democrat. He doesn't want to be a part of the Democratic Party. And yet we're in this wild situation where the Democrats treat him as if he's some authority on a party that he wants no part of. You've got a great deal of meltdown happening on the Democratic side because of Chuck Schumer. You know the difference between Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell as leaders of their respective parties? Mitch McConnell was always on the side of keep the government open. Always on the side of keep the government open. So when the government opened, you couldn't say Mitch McConnell wasn't leading his party. He was clearly leading his party. Chuck Schumer staked out a position on keep the government closed. And behind the scenes, everyone suspects very credibly he actually wanted the government to be open. But he staked out a position on keep the government closed. And now the government is open, which suggests that Chuck Schumer is incapable of leading his party. His party clearly revolted. His party clearly cannot be led by a man who can't keep the government closed down. He's the one who staked out that position. I mean, they're freaking out now on The View. You when you've lost the gals at The View, you've lost the Upper East Side of Manhattan. That may mean nothing to the rest of you, but that's Chuck Schumer's core donor base.
Be clear. The Republicans run the House. The Republicans run the Senate. The Republicans run the White House. The Republicans run the Supreme Court, as far as I'm concerned. This was a choice by Republicans to cut SNAP benefits. This was a choice by Republicans to cut ACA subsidies. This was a choice by the Republicans to gut the federal government and federal employment. Democrats had nothing to do with it. I want an opposition party. I think the Democrats caved. I think the Democrats let down the American people. And like you, Whoopi, I have absolutely no faith that the Republican Party will come to the negotiating table in good faith. You know, you do something like this, shame on you the first time. You do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, shame on me. Shame on the Democrats for even believing that the Republicans will, even vote on it. There's no guarantee in this New Deal that there's going to be a vote. There's no even commitment to have a vote. So the bottom line is the Democrats went into this after a blue wave out of the American people saying, we do want the opposition. We the working people want the Democratic Party to fight for them. And now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over.
Okay. Let's just think. Now, this woman, this is Sunny Houston, who's a bat crap crazy, terrible human being. She actually is a pretty terrible human being from what I'm told behind the scenes of The View. You know, I got friends there, and nobody particularly cares for her. She's also the one who was talking about how her family needed SNAP benefits. I'm like, lady, you're a millionaire and your family needs welfare? Really? Sunny Houston, she says the Republicans did these mean things, and so Democrats should have held the line. For what? To keep people from getting SNAP benefits? to keep air traffic controllers from being paid. See, this is the incoherence of the Democratic position. She just wanted the government to be shut down. And the Republicans were willing to oblige to keep the government shut down. You know, I suspect we're going to get into January. The Democrats are going to want to have this fight all over again. The Democrats are probably going to want to shut it down and leave it down and think that that's going to help them in the midterms. In fact, the Democratic message, I suspect, is going to be, you shut it down and you keep it shut down and the voters will reward us. Now, I don't think that's actually going to be the case, but I suspect that this is where we're headed. The Democrats are going to decide that it is best to shut it all down in January, have another temper tantrum. They're going to look at the polling now and say, hey, it helped us in the off-year elections, so it will help us in the off-year elections. They will have learned the wrong lessons. The right lesson is this. Republicans have no incentive to open the government, and Democrats do, and you can be sure that the next time the Republicans will make it as painful as possible for the Democrats when the shutdown happens.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
150 Cool Day Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. Still slow between Emerson and Ackworth. Long-standing stalled big rig still in the right lane. 75 southbound, Highway 92, exit 277. You're slow back to Old Allatoona Road. You can use Highway 41. 285 westbound. I found out why that's slow out of Sandy Springs and DeKalb. It's due to trouble off to the right on the 285 west ramp to 75 north. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Get ready for another Powerball jackpot tomorrow. Powerball players can win millions playing in-store or online at galottery.com. Only from the Georgia Lottery. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
1 in 7 Georgians and 1 in 5 Georgia children are estimated to be food insecure.
With SNAP benefits going away in the holiday here, times are especially hard, but you can help make a difference today.
It's the annual 95.5 WSB Triple Team Traffic Food Drive.
Go to WSBradio.com and contribute to help the Atlanta Community Food Bank.
Or come out in person on Friday, November 21st to the Publix located at 11800 Haynesbridge Road in Alpharetta.
Help a local family in need. Go to WSBradio.com to find out how you can donate today.
With our weather extremes, I wanted windows that would stand the test of time. Hi, it's meteorologist Glenn Burns, and I found them. I love my Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows from North Georgia Replacement Windows. I was blown away. They're energy efficient and incredibly durable. 8 times stronger than vinyl, so they last. Experience the fiberglass difference at your home or in their new Alpharetta showroom.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not that enriched stuff you see on the grocery shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away from the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we are more than a kitchen store. We are a real food store where you can get everything you need to make real bread for your family. Come to the Bread Beckers store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and other whole foods, and check out our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment, including grain mills, pressure cookers, freeze dryers, and more. Our infused olive oils and vinegars are a huge hit. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff will help you find the perfect gift. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Hey, this is Mark Aaron for Rocco's European Garage, where I've been taking my car for service and repair for years. If you own a Benz, Beamer, Porsche, or Audi and want your vehicle serviced right, quickly, and for good value, go to Rocco's European Garage. Their certified techs will pamper your vehicle like it's their own, and their work won't void your car's warranty. Pricing better value than the dealership, and they won't try to oversell you on what your car needs. Take your car to one of the 6 convenient locations or online, roccoseuropeangarage.com.
Is your financial advisor
advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program as promised, I actually do want to talk about Veterans Day when we come back. I do. I've got some thoughts that may, they need to be said. I'll just put it to you that way. Whether you want to hear it or not, those thoughts need to be said. Now, I got to say something else. The 15-year car loan. I thought that was a joke because, the president came up with the 50-year mortgage, and then people started talking about the 15-year car loan, and I really thought it was a joke. It's not a joke. Sean Davis from The Federalist went on a tirade the other day about how we need to get serious about solving economic problems. A 50-year mortgage and a 15-year car loan don't do that. I don't know that cars last 15 years. I mean, a Toyota, yes, maybe an older F-150, but so many of the newer cars have so many electronic parts that wear out so quickly. I don't know that a car is going to last 15 years anymore, but the fact that we're at the point where we've got to talk about it is kind of wild that anyone needs to even think about it. And then there's this. Fannie Mae is set to drop its 620 credit score minimum. You're no longer going to have a minimum credit score of 620 to get financing for a house. They're going to have other criteria. Those other criteria are going to be abused. Wait until you come back. Well, you've got to have at least one trans child, and you yourself be on the spectrum for non-gender binary in order to get a loan. When you drop the minimum credit score, you're opening to all sorts of hanky-panky, and also you're opening to abuse. You're opening to abuse of the system and going to cause another financial meltdown. I swear, between this and OpenAI, we're going to have a financial crisis that makes the 2009 one look like nothing. Eden Pure would love for you to get 3 of their Eden Pure thunderstorms for less than $200. You can go to EdenPureDeals.com, EdenPureDeals.com. Use the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com. Now, they're small air purifiers. You can hold it in your hand, about the size of a small paperback book. And I keep one in my travel bag, and it just destroys odors, smoke odors, litter box odors, wet dog odors, any pet odor, any cooking odor, anything like that, musty odors in your house. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm just wipes them out. You go to EdenPureDeals.com. Eden, like the Garden of Eden, pure as the driven snow. EdenPureDeals.com. You put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK, the number 3, no space. You'll get 3 of them for less than $200. You'll save $200. They get rid of pet dander, dust, pollen. They get rid of 99.9% of bacteria and viruses, and then where they shine is an odor eliminator. Upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV, you get 3 of them for less than $200, and you've saved $200. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3.
If
it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
We've got it covered.
Atlanta jurors convict a former Customs and Border Protection officer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
I'm so excited to hear my son's band play tonight. They've been, sorry, be right back. They've been rehearsing, bathroom break. Overactive bladder can mean missing out on life's moments, navigating life around the nearest bathroom instead of the next experience. Medtronic therapies have treated nearly 500,000 people worldwide with bladder or bowel control problems. Let Medtronic show you what's possible. Visit medtronic.com/bladderhelp to learn how.
The holidays are approaching, so let my friends at Publix help you save money by shopping on the buy one, get one deals each week. Hey, it's Mark Aram. Yeah, there are BOGOs galore at your neighborhood Publix supermarkets. I love going in there and just following the yellow brick road of BOGOs. Save when you shop with the latest buy one, get one free items, deals on your favorites, and make sure you check out the BOGO deals before you shop. You can find the weekly ad online at Publix.com or in the Publix app. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. The cost of social media addiction for students. DeKalb County Schools files a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
DeKalb is one of many school systems alleging that major social media companies knowingly created addictive platforms. And the school's attorney, Davis Vaughn, says these tech titans are liable for their impact on the classroom environment.
DeKalb has extended a large sum of money having to deal with social media addiction and harms to the district and its students.
Harms such as
addiction to social media itself, anxiety, depression, body dysmorphia, self-harm, suicidal thoughts.
The district has spent millions on additional counselors, cell phone lockers, and much more. Graham Kill, 95.5 WSB.
48 degrees in Atlanta. Wind will climb back into the upper 60s. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. One person is seriously injured after a shooting today on Tree Crest Parkway in DeKalb County. Police tell us they are looking for a suspect right now. They say the investigation is active and ongoing. A warning today from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. He says delays and cancellations at the nation's airports are only going to get worse.
If you thought this weekend was bad with delays and cancellations, truly this Thursday and Friday, I think you would have seen mass, double, triple the number of cancellations and delays in the airspace.
Flights have been cut by the FAA due to shutdown-related staffing issues. In Atlanta today, more than 130 flights have been delayed. Another 120 plus have been canceled. A former Bartow County jailer is now behind bars at the same jail where he worked until his firing in 2022. 44-year-old Gregory Allen is sentenced to 2 years after pleading guilty to having a sexual relationship with a female inmate 3 years ago. The FBI reports romance scams have cheated people out of more than $50 billion between 2020 and 2024. Scott Cole has been the face of many of the scams for at least 15 years. The 63-year-old yoga and fitness instructor from California says his images were stolen and used on fake accounts to cheat people.
These people are being scammed by my image and likeness and being asked for money, and it's so awful and tragic and mean.
The most recent data indicates romance scam losses in Georgia have reached more than $25 million. It is now 2:02, and this news is sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson here. You've heard me talk about David Nicholas and the team at Nicholas Wealth Management, and I'll tell you what, I'm not just talking about them. I actually am a client. I've got an account with Nicholas Wealth Management. Look, retirement planning today isn't what it used to be. You got to deal with inflation, taxes, market volatility. You can't just hope things work out. You need a real plan. That's why I turned to David Nicholas. David's a weekly guest on Stuart Varney Show on Fox Business. He hosts a 1-hour show every week right here, Saturday at 6 p.m. He and his team focus on helping people get to what they call the sweet spot in retirement, where you have enough income to live comfortably, invest wisely, and enjoy the next chapter of life with confidence. Now, here's the thing. The earlier you start planning, I wish I knew this, the earlier you start planning, the better off you may be. So take the first step today. Call Nicholas Wealth Management. Schedule your free, no obligation retirement analysis. You'll sit down with an advisor with a fiduciary duty who puts your interests first, reviews your goals, and helps you build a clear plan for retirement so you can focus on what matters most. Call 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com. That's NICHOLAS wealth.com to schedule your free analysis today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. Eric Erickson is paid $450 a week for his testimonial. No endorsement of Nicholas Wealth Management from Fox or Stuart Varney is stated or implied.
It's 2:05. Time for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center this afternoon. It's Alex Williams.
Hey, Bill. We are going to have to unfortunately sound the travel advisory for Ackworth. Still dealing with the stalled big rig. Been here for a couple of hours in the right lane. 75 southbound, Highway 92, exit 277. Very slow back up in Emerson. Use Highway 41. Looking for new trouble heading into Midtown on I-85 southbound before the ramp to 75 northbound. Slow from Georgia 400. And 285 west still on the brakes through Sandy Springs into Cobb with trouble off to the right on the 285 west ramp to I-75 northbound. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Sunny skies and staying chilly today. High 47, clear and cold tonight. Lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow, sunshine trending warmer. High 63, climbing to the upper 60s by Thursday.
Right now, 44 in Marietta, 49 in Conyers, 46 in Hampton. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across America. The phone number is 877-973-7425. For those of you in the Atlanta area, my buddy Chris just sent me a note. Good news. Housing prices are dropping in the metro Atlanta area. Tyler Perry just sold his estate for $2.45 million. It had been listed for $3.9 million. It's the old one, not the new one he's building. Okay. Thanks again. If you hadn't heard, my wife's scans were good. I appreciate it. I've got her sitting at a hotel while I do my show. We'll grab her after the show and head back home. I want to spend some time here on Veterans Day. And I want to thank those of you who served. I want to thank you. One of the funniest stories I have heard lately is a friend of mine who was getting thanked profusely on Memorial Day for his service. And he tried to explain, no, that's Veterans Day. And this is Memorial Day. No. Memorial Day is for when you die serving your country. I didn't die, so Veterans Day. That'll be November. It's November 11th. It is November 11th because they needed a way to stop the guns. And they decided to give advance notice. And everybody was on notice. The Germans, the Austro-Hungarian Empire was cracking up, falling apart, dividing. We would get Germany out of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And they sent out notice, November 11th at 11 a.m. So on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, of 1918, the guns of August fell silent. The war had started in August, really. July 28th, 1914, but really August, that's when it got started. The Allied powers and the Central Powers slaughtered hundreds of thousands. The war spread across Europe, the Middle East, parts of Africa, Asia, into the Pacific. The United States finally entered and helped resolve it on the side of the Allied powers, cementing an alliance with Great Britain that had not very much been an alliance before then. The Treaty of Versailles was not signed until June 28th, 1919. I watched Downton Abbey when it was out. I wasn't a huge fan, but I watched it. It wasn't a bad show. It just turned way too soap opera-ish. But it wasn't a bad show. One of the things it captured was the upheaval after World War I. What had been could no longer be in Europe. The aristocracy receded to the entrepreneur. The women of Europe entered the workforce en masse. They couldn't stay home anymore. All their husbands and sons were dead on battlefields. Towns in England lost all their men, many of their boys. What was could no longer be. And that was World War I. Across Europe today, now it's evening there now. Earlier today, the King and Queen of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and all the Commonwealth nations laid a wreath. The Brits, the Aussies, the Kiwis, the Canadians, they all wore poppies. That's World War I. Is not something we in this country have ever really paid attention to. World War II was our big one. World War II was the one we entered it en masse. It had been just the Europeans fighting each other, Hitler barnstorming across Europe. We entered World War II, and we lost lots and lots of young men in World War II. We didn't really lose a lot of young men in World War I. World War II was transformative to the world and put us in charge of the world. Just for comparison, in Vietnam, we lost 58,000. In World War I, we only lost 116,516. That's 116,516 too much, but 405,399 Americans died in World War II. So World War I was 116,000. World War II was 405,000. And if you really want perspective there, the Revolutionary War was 25,000 Americans died. Think about that. 25,000 Americans in the military died in the Revolutionary War. 405,399 died in World War II. In the Gulf War, fought in 1990, 258 Americans died. That's amazing. The War on Terror, you know, the one that it was such a drain on American resources and we recall so many people dying. 7,091 American soldiers died from 2001 to now. 7,091. A lot were injured. A lot were injured in IEDs. A lot of lives were changed. You add up all of the wars in which Americans died. The Gulf War, the Spanish-American War, the War on Terror, the Mexican-American War, the War of 1812, the Revolutionary War, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, World War I, World War II. Add them all up. Add all the soldiers together who died. The sailors, the soldiers, the Marines, the airmen who died. They still don't equal the amount who died in the Civil War. Europe today has Remembrance Day because so many Europeans died in World War I. You can still see the trenches. Not the World War II trenches. You can see the World War I trenches. And in fact, some of the World War II trenches were World War I trenches. Whole towns were lost. Whole families were wiped out. It's a massive deal to Europe. And the world set Remembrance Day for November 11th because that's when peace happened. That's when the guns fell silent. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, and the President of the United States here lays a wreath. At 11 o'clock in the morning on November 11th, the President of the United States places a wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier. He did it today. But we don't have Remembrance Day today because our Remembrance Day is our Memorial Day, the last Monday in May, because if you add up all of the dead of all the wars ever fought by Americans, they still amount to less than died in the American Civil War. 620,000. And by the way, there's new academic scholarly data that more and more people believe might be accurate that actually pushes it above 700,000 lost during the Civil War. If it is 620,000 lost, then during Barack Obama's presidency, we actually tied the number of dead of the Civil War to all the other wars combined. Still, all the other wars combined, to reach the number dead in the Civil War, you have to get to Barack Obama's administration. And by the way, with the growing body of academic research that suggests that the Civil War killed more than 700,000 Americans, we haven't even matched it with all other wars combined. That's why we don't remember the dead today. We remember the veterans because the Civil War was so destructive. We already had a day set aside. 405,399 Americans died in World War II at a time the American population was expansive. We had 48 states in the Union. We had a massive population. 405,399 members of the military died. And that was still less than the Civil War at a time the nation was smaller, both in terms of population and landmass. That's absurd. And there are those who right now, at this moment, on the left and the right, they want another civil war. They say they want a national divorce. They want a breakup. A breakup is not going to come peacefully. And what I have found is the more online you are, the more hyper online you are, the more hyper partisan you are, the more you look at the other side of the aisle and say they're evil as opposed to they're my opponents, you're more likely to be willing to have a civil war. And I've also found that the more you look on the other side and you say they're evil, the less of them you know. You live an isolated existence when you find the other side evil. Oh, well, you say, well, but abortion, they're the party of abortion. They're the party of sterilizing children. That's evil. I would agree. It's a sin. I would agree. But what about the sins on your own side? You know, they look at you on our side and say, you're tearing families apart. You're putting children in camps. You're tearing them apart. Their families have fled violence. What about the refugees? And you and I can be dismissive and say, no, that's not as bad. But you should understand that they look at us the same way we look at them in those cases. And here's why I try to avoid saying they're evil, though they're sinners, because we're sinners too. And there are a lot of people who have decided, well, their sins are so much greater than my own. They're the evil ones. I can't coexist with them anymore. There are a lot of Democrats. Gavin Newsom, he doesn't want to coexist with people in Texas or Georgia. He wants to impose California values on them. We used to, as a nation, live and let live, and now we do not. We don't celebrate each other. We don't treat each other as worth celebrating. We don't do this if we live too much online. Those of you who are listening to me right now who you're not obsessed on social media, you're not on Facebook all the time, you're not on Twitter all the time, the data suggests that you view your fellow Americans in a better light than the people who are online all the time. And there's something to be said for when you stay online constantly, you are more likely to hate the other side. When you are online with your tribe so much, you're less likely to view the other side as legitimate. And I've got a problem with that because 620,000 Americans were killed in the Civil War. And by the way, that's the military. That's not wounded. That's just dead. When you include the wounded in the Civil War, it tops 1 million people. And I don't want to go through that as a nation. And so I would say we have to accommodate each other. We have to find ways to respect each other's differences, and we have to realize that we don't fight with bullets, we fight with ballots in this country, and there's no such thing as a permanent majority. Things change. In a nation of 340 million people, growing to 350 million people over time, things change. There's no permanent coalition. So I would tell you, stop looking on people you disagree with as your enemy. There certainly are people out there who are evil. There certainly are people out there who believe things that I abhor. But I got to share the country with them, so there's got to be some level of civic goodwill even as we disagree. We got to make our arguments at each other, and to others, and not be censoring each other so the best ideas win. And then we do it all over again every 2 years in a never-ending cycle of elections. And we do it to honor the blood shed on battlefields, not in Europe, but here. So much blood shed here that when Europeans slaughtered each other on the battlefields of World War I, we couldn't join them in a Remembrance Day because we already had to have one because of the number of Americans who killed other Americans in a war between states, not between countries. And we should thank the veterans today who lived to tell the tale of war, and we should hear them and recognize probably not something we want to bring back to this land. And in so doing, recognize that, you know what? We're going to share this country together, and it's going to be okay.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Better news in Ackworth. Stall cleared. All lanes are back open. 75 southbound, Highway 92, exit 277. Still slow out of Emerson, but those delays will start to improve. Crash cleared 85 southbound before the ramp to 75 north in Midtown. Now left lane crash Clayton County, 285 eastbound, the outer loop ramp to I-75. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $900 million. Now with bigger jackpots, better odds, and a built-in multiplier. Drawings every Tuesday and Friday. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
An end to the government shutdown is in sight.
The Senate continuing resolution has been passed on a vote of 60 to...
What comes next?
House now needs to be called back into session, and then they need to vote.
What does it mean to you?
Some people have not gotten their SNAP benefits, and everyone, it seems, isn't sure when all this uncertainty will end.
Listen often throughout the day for the very latest.
Obviously, there's a lot of pressure to start getting the government open.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Attention Georgia homeowners, what if I told you these will be the last replacement windows you ever put in your home? And if not, we'll replace them for free forever. Hey, it's Ray, owner of Window Comfort. This isn't hype, this is our commitment and what we stand behind here at Window Comfort. Our windows are factory direct, custom built for Georgia, installed by our in-house team in just one day, and backed by our double lifetime warranty. If they fog, draft, or fail, even 20 years from now, we're going to replace them, no questions asked. And right now, you can get buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, and we're going to throw in free installation if you schedule this month. This isn't a sale, this is a no-brainer. You have nothing to lose and everything to save. Schedule your no-pressure estimate now at windowcomfort.com.
Terms and conditions apply. See windowcomfort.com.
Better prices, better views. Window Comfort, meant just for you. Window Comfort.
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call now 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170 to claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now. 404-400-1170.
When it comes to defending down bikers' rights, trust is everything and results matter. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, local motorcycle injury attorneys who ride. They specialize in protecting bikers who've been hurt. The mega firms will send an investigator or a paralegal, not a lawyer. With Steel Horse Law, you'll meet directly with your own attorney to get you back on your feet, medical bills paid, back to work, and your case resolved. Schedule your free accident evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not the enriched stuff you see on the shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away by the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we have heard thousands of stories from satisfied customers who found improved health from eating real bread. We invite you to come check out the Bread Becker store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and more. Our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment or infused oils and vinegars are sure to be the perfect gift for that special someone. Let us teach you how to make your own real bread to improve your family's health. Take that first step to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Do you store your holiday decorations in your basement? Uh-oh, that might be a problem, especially if your basement is showing any signs of water damage like wet floors and walls, mold, or rot. Dave Baker here for AquaGuard Foundation Solutions. The AquaGuard experts will work with you to find the permanent solution your basement and crawl space needs to stay dry year-round. Just visit AquaGuard.net for a free inspection and no-pressure quote today. AquaGuard Foundation Solutions. There's a reason they are the trusted local experts. Remember,
AquaGuard. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
Howdy, howdy. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. 877-973-7425 is the phone number. Don't forget, text donate to 33777 and you can help us raise money to feed people this Thanksgiving season, which is really actually something that is very necessary. There are a lot of people out there who need the help, and there are a lot of people, frankly, out there who don't want to seek the help, and they're just not comfortable. They feel like they're begging, and I just encourage those people. We're doing what we can to provide funds. This radio show, 638 of you have made a donation so far. And I'm hoping in the last couple of years we've hit thousands of people. We've only been at this for about 24 hours now. I hope you'll consider texting the word donate to 33777 and follow the link. You can also go to ericthanksgiving.com, ERICK, Thanksgiving.com. It's not Eric's Thanksgiving, it's just Eric, ERICK, Thanksgiving.com. That'll send you to the website. As we help feed families, we have partnered across the nation in all of our areas of listenership with Hungry for a Day to make sure that you can contribute in your community and that you will be serving local people in your community and people will be able to get a Thanksgiving meal. So thank you for your help. Text donate to 33777. Now, also consider going to afpvolunteer.com today and sign up for Americans for Prosperity. If you want to be in the know and an active member of the conservative community nationwide, Americans for Prosperity would love to have you. You go to afpvolunteer.com and you can sign up and just stay informed of local public policies around the country. And if you want to do more than that, if you want to really get engaged, you go to afpvolunteer.com and you can learn how to go to your county commission or your local school board or your state legislature, or even call members of Congress and how to talk to them about issues and persuade them that they should take your side. Americans for Prosperity has summoned volunteers around the country and helped put pressure to pass the president's tax cuts at the state level, school choice, business reform, new laws to regulate the bureaucracy and rein in their power. You can become a powerful member of the conservative movement or just the most informed person in your circle of friends. And all you do is go to afpvolunteer.com, afpvolunteer.com. Sign up with Americans for Prosperity. They're active in every state. They've got chapters in every state. They'd love to have you on board at afpvolunteer.com.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
We only want to be around people who think exactly like us.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
God forbid you actually converse about the world.
Eric Von Haessler.
Smash and conquer, my friend.
Eric Von Haessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News.
Weather.
Traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. Delays and cancellations on the rise again today at Hartsfield Jackson and airports across the U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says it's only going to get worse.
This is the worst possible issue, aviation, that you could play politics with.
Flights have been cut by the FAA due to government shutdown-related staffing issues. The DeKalb County School District sues several big social media giants, claiming they're addictive to students and cause a distraction in the classroom.
Instead of being focused on the learning environment, they are distracted by social media's addictive design.
Attorney Davis Vaughn says DeKalb is one of many school districts nationwide seeking damages from Meta, TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram. The district argues it spent over $4 million to support mental health due to social media addiction. A trial date for DeKalb's case has not yet been set. A Veterans Day ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery today.
Everything we have, everything our country has achieved has been purchased by the muscle, spine, and steel of the United States military.
President Trump, along with Vice President Vance and other members of his cabinet, attend a wreath ceremony which honors the service of all veterans past and present. News about your health now. Chronic kidney disease is now among the top 10 leading causes of death worldwide. According to new research published in the journal The Lancet, chronic kidney disease is now the 9th leading cause of death, with record numbers of men and women reportedly suffering from reduced kidney function. It is now 2:32. This news sponsored by FGA Roofing.
Whether it's a walk-in closet, master closet, or pantry, unlock the true potential of your storage areas in time for the holidays. Schedule your free design consultation today at artisancustomclosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury this holiday season.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Picture it, your holiday table, the family cooking together, the scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps. This season at Kroger, make the moments that matter possible with quality that's affordable in every aisle. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on eggs. Right now, 18-count cartons of large grade A Kroger brand eggs are on sale for just $1.99 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere, live, to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you.
Heart disease is the number one killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Hey, Bill, got some better news. Southside perimeter crash moved all to the right. All lanes open on that 285 eastbound outer loop ramp to I-75 exit 58. Still slow north side perimeter, 285 westbound, seeing the delays leaving Georgia 400 over to the stall that's been on the right shoulder for quite a while on the ramp to I-75. It's in the clearing stages, but nonetheless, that is what's causing those delays. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Sunny skies and staying chilly today, high 47. Temperatures close to freezing tonight with lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow, trending warmer with a high of 63. Warm sunshine on Thursday, high 67.
Right now, 47 in Lawrenceville, 45 in Ackworth, and 48 in Sonoya. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
My friends, hello. It is Eric Erickson here. I'm glad to have you with me. It looks like for those of you out in Dodge City, Kansas, the New York Times, it's notable, the New York Times, the top story right now on their website, Kansas redistricting was on the fast track, then some Republicans said no. The top Republicans in Kansas were ready to join President Trump's redistricting push and redraw the state's political map to deliver another seat in Congress to Republicans. Democrats feared that a special session to pass new district lines was inevitable. And then something surprising happened. Some Republicans refused. The pushback on the plains leaves in place, at least for now, the one Democratic-leading congressional district in Kansas. It comes as a small but rising number of lawmakers across the country, Republicans and Democrats, have balked at joining the drive to carve up congressional district to boost their side's odds in midterm elections. The national flurry of remapping set off this summer when Texas Republicans drew a new one at the president's behest, happened quickly in several states, but growing resistance from state lawmakers for reasons both practical and philosophical has put a chill on the effort. When the Republican governor of Indiana called a special session for redistricting last month, the Senate Republicans said the votes weren't there. Maryland Democratic leaders are divided. In Kansas, where top Republicans hoped to meet with a new map last Friday, House leaders failed to get enough support. The depth and breadth of Republican skepticism, both from conservatives and moderates, rural areas, suburban areas, and city areas, suggests redistricting in Kansas might be dead, and it's not alone. Y'all, serious subject matter here. Many of you think the Republicans need to redraw everywhere, and I have largely been one of them too, I acknowledge. But if you saw what happened in Virginia, a lot of seats that should technically be Republican seats became Democratic seats. And if the election goes badly next year, some of those R+6 seats in some states will become swing Democratic seats, where the Democrats win by 0.5% to 1%. It may not be smart for the GOP to go down the road they're going down with the redistricting efforts now, given what we saw on Tuesday night. The polling actually was not that good in certain parts. And some polls were actually pretty good, by the way. New York Times, Siena, very good again. Trafalgar polling, very bad again. Atlas Intel polling, very bad again, I think. You got some clunkers in there. Pay attention to the good polls. And if you pay attention to the good polls that actually worked, what you see is that for next year, the Republicans are not sitting well right now. So if you do carve up these districts, let's just take Kansas. Got a lot of new listeners in Dodge City, Kansas. God bless you all. I want to come have steak with you. I hear there's massive beef processing outside of Dodge City, and I want to come have steak. And I promise I won't eat it well done with ketchup. I'll even go medium with just salt and pepper. I promise. I just want to come see you. But let's divide up Kansas. Let's take that congressional district. The problem is that around that congressional district are Republican districts that would be diluted in strength. And even in Kansas, remember, Kansas has a Democratic governor. You could see a bleed off in some of those Republican districts where suddenly you've got not good seats for the GOP. Think about Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan, great Republican congressman, a great athlete, an Olympian. I'm friends with his sons. He was a congressman from Kansas, and his district swung to the Democrats in a bad election year. You start diluting Republican strength in their congressional seats, and suddenly you've got some seats that on paper look very Republican, but in reality become Democrat. I would be careful if I were you, Republicans. What I would tell the Republicans instead is you gotta fix the problems. Fix the problems, please. And fix the economy. This is from the Washington Post. The fury at 8 Democratic-aligned senators who voted with, notice, Democratic-aligned senators are not Democratic-aligned, they're Democrat senators. The fury at 8 Democrat-aligned senators who voted with the Republicans to end the longest-ever government shutdown highlights the dramatic shift in the Democratic Party less than a year into President Donald Trump's second term. As voters and lawmakers argue the party needs to adopt more ruthless tactics to counter the president and claw its way back to power. The reaction to the 2 votes on Sunday and Monday, which provide a pathway for the government to reopen after more than 40 days, was fierce. Ro Khanna of California called for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to be replaced, suggesting he was an ineffective leader even though Schumer opposed the government funding measure. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries blasted the 8 senators and said House Democrats would not support a government funding bill that did not include the health care measures the party had demanded. Democratic advocacy groups, politically vulnerable lawmakers, potential 2028 presidential candidates, and voters all followed suit, blasting those in their party they say are caving. The desire for Democrats to hold firm despite the pain inflicted by the shutdown was the latest example of a party that has decided it must adopt an altogether different playbook given Trump's willingness to resort to unprecedented measures to consolidate and maintain power. Rather than try to uphold norms as Trump shatters them, they've insisted instead they got to fight Trump with tactics they previously disdained and excoriate those who've stood in their way. The Democrats are working themselves into frenzy. They've already got them out there firing actual bullets at the right. They're working themselves into a frenzy, convinced that the Republicans are shattering norms, and they themselves never shattered norms. It wasn't norm shattering when Barack Obama went after the nuns or the pro-lifers or had the IRS target conservatives. No, none of that was earth-shatteringly defiant of the norms. No. Only the Republicans shatter norms. But that's why the GOP needs to be careful. You know, there's some data. Where is this? Yes. Greg Price on Twitter highlighted this. In the new Atlanta Journal-Constitution poll down in Georgia, where your host is their new conservative columnist, right as they're about to get rid of a print newspaper, nonetheless, Democrats in Georgia say that their single most important issue is standing up to Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans. More than the economy, more than the cost of living, more than taxes, more than jobs, more than immigration, more than crime, more than anything else, the number one job, according to Democratic voters, is standing up to Donald Trump. Now, here's the significance of that and the problem. It is very typical in off-year elections, midterm elections, that the party out of power is more fired up. And the Democrats we saw in this off-year election, they're very fired up. So if you redistrict and you take an R plus 12 district down to an R plus 5 or 6 district, you could be making it a D plus 0.5 to D plus 1 district. Democrats are mobilized. Now, here's the hope that the Republicans have from the shutdown, that they have been so divisive, that they have been so focused on dividing the Democrats, that that'll overcome the divisiveness, that will allow the GOP to mitigate the 2026 damage. Because let's be honest here, there are going to be a number of Democrats. Now, you will note in the United States Senate, none of the people who were involved in breaking the shutdown blockade on the Democratic side are on the ballot in 2026. 2 of them aren't running again. The rest of them are put off to 28 and 2030. I mean, literally, a couple of them are involved, aren't up for re-election until the year 2030. Do you really believe anyone in 2030 is going to care about the 2025 shutdown? No. 5 years from now? No. But the anger is going to be taken out on perceived moderate Democrats. And if you take the anger out on those perceived moderate Democrats and you beat them in primaries with hard left socialists like Mamdani, you got a problem. Years ago, 2010, Jim DeMint started the Senate Conservatives Fund. I was all in and still am on the Senate Conservatives Fund. Great organization. Jim DeMint started. My buddy Matt Hoskins has been just a brilliant strategist trying to get more conservatives elected to the United States Senate. There were a couple of races, though, where the Senate Conservatives Fund was blamed but did not get involved. Christine O'Donnell in Delaware. Remember the witch, I am a witch. She challenged Mike Castle. She beat him in a Republican primary, and then she lost. She was too hard right. She was not a good candidate. Jim DeMint got blamed for supporting her, and he never did. There were a number of those candidates around the country who were too far right, and they cost Republicans at a time the GOP should have won the Senate and expanded its margins. They lost. Harry Reid was able to win re-election against a Republican, and everyone largely argued had his opponent been someone else, Harry Reid would have lost. But the conservatives rallied and pushed too far right in certain parts of the country where going that far right was actually unhelpful. And the result was Democrats mitigated the damage. Republicans now have the opportunity to mitigate their damage. You push the Democrats too far left. You push the Democrats too far left, and you see what voters will reject. Now, not all of them can be pushed so far. In New Mexico, maybe. In John Ossoff in Georgia, he's so scared of progressives primarying him, he backed the government shutdown, and that could come back to bite him. Jeanne Shaheen, though, is up for re-election in New Hampshire, and she's not running again. You could get the Democrats to go so hard left that John Sununu, now the Republican candidate, gets elected. Maybe in Michigan, Gary Peters. He could be primaried, pushed out the door, have somebody challenge him or decide not to run again. Mark Warner in Virginia, that one's an outlier, but possible. You've got senators this year up for re-election on the Democratic side. Cory Booker in New Jersey, Chris Coons in Delaware, Dick Durbin in Illinois, who's not going to run again, John Hickenlooper in Colorado, Ben Ray Lujan in New Mexico, Ed Markey in Massachusetts, who's not going to run again, Jeff Merkley in Oregon, John Ossoff in Georgia, Gary Peters in Michigan, Jack Reed in Rhode Island, Jeanne Shaheen in New Hampshire, Tina Smith in Minnesota, Mark Warner in Virginia. There aren't a lot of pickup opportunities there for the GOP. However, John Ossoff is certainly one. Gary Peters in Michigan is another. And if the Democrats go too far hard left in those races in particular, they could really cost the GOP, cost the Democrats the potential to take back the Senate. So what the Republicans did by defying the Democrats, by refusing to reopen the government, it was the only way that it could happen. It's the only way. The Democrats are going to turn on themselves. Gary Peters, I just got to know, he's decided to step aside. Abdul El Sayed, who is one of the ranking Democratic candidates to replace him, is declining to say whether or not he believes Israel has a right to exist. I mean, good luck to the Democrats on this sort of stuff. Good luck to you. The data suggests the Democrats are moving further and further and further to the left, and the data suggests the voters don't want them to. They have fallen into a trap the Republicans designed, and they genuinely could push themselves so far left that the voters react in states like Michigan, even in states like New Mexico, states like Georgia, responding to John Ossoff, who sided with progressives and shut down the government. This could be a replay on the Democratic side of what Republicans went through in 2010 if the Democrats aren't careful, and it looks like they are not going to be careful.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
250 Corday Carrier WSB Traffic Center. New trouble, West Side Inner Loop, 285 northbound, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 9, crash in 2 left lanes. Delays quickly going to stack up behind that. Use 75, 85 north as an alternate. And looking for new trouble in Cobb, 75 southbound between Windy Hill and I-285. Traffic brought to you by BathFitter.com, the leader in bathroom innovation. Right now, during Bathfitter's Black Friday event, you can save up to $800 on your new bathroom. Visit BathFitter.com to get started today. That's BathFitter.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It doesn't have to be like this.
You don't have to put up with it.
Shutting down the ramp from 285 east.
You don't have to sit in it.
It takes almost 30 minutes to go 400 south.
And you don't have to look at your phone to get out of it.
It is Atlanta traffic, and getting you out of it is what we do best.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
Updated traffic as often as you need it from local traffic reporters 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It's a jackknife tractor trailer.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta gets there.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Well, Chris, as you know, time just keeps on ticking. We're putting another year under our belt, so it seems like a really good time to take stock of our financial lives and put together that plan that's built to last.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Serving my country required sacrifice that changed my life forever. I remember the day I came home. Because of my injuries, this house wasn't right for me anymore. I remember the narrow doorways, the small bathrooms, the shelves out of reach when in my wheelchair. Every day was full of obstacles. I felt trapped. I remember a better day, the day my family received a specially adapted custom home from Homes for Our Troops. That day changed everything. Now we have a safe and accessible home to enjoy the freedom I fought for. This place, our home, is exactly what we needed to rebuild our lives.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
The 4 Things You Need to Know podcast, giving you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app, or by texting Eric to 33777.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. There's new polling out from Gallup on the legalization of marijuana. 85% of Democrats support it, 66% of independents support it, 40% of Republicans support it. Every single group that supports it has fallen. Democrats the least, but they've still fallen. Independents were up over 70%. They're now at 66. Republican support has gone from 55% to 40%. I have a theory why. It stinks. Upper income white people, they go get their edibles and they sit on their couch at night or they vegetate somewhere. But you got a lot of people who smoke like actual weed, and it stinks, and they do it in their cars. And because it stinks so much, more and more people are aware of how many people are driving high. You're starting to see all the billboards now, at least I am in my area, that say don't drive high and things like that. We even have, if you listen to the live stream, I don't know if it comes through, maybe you hear an ad, blessedly hear an ad instead of the PSAs. There's a PSA we hear sometimes of guy who is driving high and, oh, don't drive high. I hear the music when I'm driving. Yeah, but you don't see the people you're about to run over is basically the gist of it. More and more people are smoking weed while they drive. It happened to me yesterday. Where was I yesterday? I can't remember now. But I was driving somewhere, and person in front of me, like I had to turn on my air circulator of the car. It stunk so bad. And I think that's what it is you go to Las Vegas now, everywhere smells like weed. I love to go to Las Vegas. I'm not a big gambler. I'll play craps, but I go play golf. I shoot machine guns. I'm fat. I love to eat. They've got great restaurants in Las Vegas. The whole place stinks like weed now. You can't just go get the edible. You gotta smoke a joint and blow it in people's face. It's just gross. It's gross. And so people's support for it is declining. And also, there's an overwhelming body of research now that people who regularly smoke weed under 25 years old have a massive, massive risk of schizophrenia later in life. Massive risk. I actually know a couple, their son has schizophrenia, and they attribute it to the weed habit he developed while he was in college. Was smoking massive amounts of weed in high school behind their back and got to college, just turned total pothead, failed out of college. He's got schizophrenia. And they absolutely attribute it to his drug usage. There's a counter-revolution coming, and a lot of it just has to do with, instead of buying edibles and sitting on their couch and playing video games, people are driving and smoking marijuana, and the rest of us are very aware of it now. If you're pro-weed, just go get a gummy and an Xbox and enjoy Halo. Leave the rest of us alone on the roads. Now, let me tell you about Hillsdale College before I get out of here. If you go to ericforhillsdale.com, you can sign yourself up or a friend up for a great class at Hillsdale College for free. You get a certificate of completion when you're done. ericforhillsdale.com. It's a great opportunity for you to learn not just about Hillsdale College, but learn about a subject you're interested in, whether it's capitalism or the American Revolution or the Civil War, ancient Rome or Greece, literature like C.S. Lewis or Shakespeare. There's so much for you to learn from Hillsdale College, and all you do is go to ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up with Hillsdale College today, and you take the class for free. You got 40 different ones to choose from. They're really all very good with some of the best faculty from Hillsdale. 30-minute episodes, do it at your own pace. Certificate of completion when you're done. No charge to you at ericforhillsdale.com. Go sign up today.
Coming Wednesday on Atlanta's Morning News, how soon the warm-up arrives in our exclusive 5-day forecast, and why Clark Howard says the price isn't the price when it comes to buying a car. I'm Chris Chandler. We start at 5 on WSB.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
If you looked at your quarterly statements on your 401k or kind of investment account or anything like that, you're sitting on quite a nice return on your money. It's kind of shocking if you look back at what your account was worth maybe 5-7 years ago and what it's worth today. In fact, stock market values in the United States are the most inflated, I would say, they've ever been. Most pricey versus company earnings they've ever been. So does that mean you should ditch what you got? No, you should make sure you're properly diversified before the market decides to take a nice fall. And the other thing you should do, take a deep breath when a market decline comes. You've got a long time till you're going to need the money. Just chill. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. It's all new this hour. A Texas teenager is sentenced to 65 years in prison for a head-on crash that killed members of an Alpharetta family almost 2 years ago.
Investigators say Luke Ressiker, who was 17 at the time of the crash, was under the influence of THC when he slammed into a minivan after Christmas. A mother and 2 children visiting from Alpharetta were killed, along with their grandparents, as well as a 28-year-old driver. The sole survivor in the minivan was left paralyzed from the waist down, and a teen passenger in Ressiker's car suffered a traumatic brain injury. Prosecutors say the case is a sobering reminder of the consequences of impaired and reckless driving. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
49 degrees in Atlanta, close to freezing again tomorrow morning, but trending warmer in the afternoon. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. DeKalb County Schools is one of several districts nationwide suing social media companies.
There is a cost in terms of time spent dealing with students distracted by their phones, but there's also a tangible monetary cost, starting with hiring more mental health counselors. Plus,
purchasing the pouches you place your cell phone in to keep students from scrolling during classroom instructional time. They've purchased cell phone lockers. They've had to increase IT measures to block certain social media platforms.
Davis Vaughn is an attorney for the district seeking over $4 million from Meta, TikTok, Snapchat,